ano na to, yung camera ko mamaya. So anyway, so good afternoon. So it's nice to see you, ano. So it's nice to meet you, everybody. So this afternoon, this fateful afternoon. So the last time na itong topic na to, cost volume profit, is a little bit somewhat a memorable sa akin to. Because there was a time na nagturo ko dati sa Dagupan. Tapos eventually what happened, bumaba ako ron, tapos nagsisimula na yung bagyo. Tapos nung nandun na ako, ang nangyari is talagang bumagyo na, flooded na lahat. So from Baguio City, umabot pa naman ako ng Dagupan until eventually what happened was nag-cancel na kami ng classes right after the morning class. So ang nangyari doon was I tried to go up to Baguio City. So umalis ako ng alas 12 ng tanghali from Dagupan. Tapos nakarating na ako ng Baguio City, alauna. Okay? Alauna ng hapon the next day. Di ba? So ganun katagal. So I really got stranded before. So it was really that memorable itong topic na to. So it just so happened again na this is also the topic for this afternoon. So this is again, we are nasa pandemic tayo ngayon, ano? Tapos ang topic na naman na i-discuss ko sa inyo is again, cost volume profit analysis. So yun siya. So again, of course, before anything else, so I hope everybody is well and good. So I hope na ano na to, wala tayo mga masyadong problema sa buhay, ano? So it's only for accounting lang yung concentration natin. So anyway, I'm glad na to present to you this afternoon. So again, please excuse me for my voice. Medyo namamaos ako ngayon. So anyway, we will do our best. Okay, so for this afternoon, so let me just present to you my screen. So present lang natin saglit. Okay, share. Ayun. Okay, so this is cost volume profit, ano. So basta nag-discuss tayo ng cost volume profit, it is inevitable na kasama sa discussion natin, laging pupunta talaga doon ang discussion ng break-even point. So laging magkapatid kasi itong dalawang to. So it's always cost volume profit and break-even point analysis. So anyway, let me just get my PowerPointer, yung ating highlighter para mas mabilis or mas maganda yung presentation natin this afternoon. Okay, so anyway, this afternoon, I wish that this would be interactive. So I will not dominate much I will dominate definitely the discussion, but dun sa latter part ng discussion natin, I need you to actively participate. Okay, kasi may mga questions doon na kailangan din nating masagutan just to determine if nasundan nga natin yung discussion natin sa hapon na to. Okay, so let's go over. Okay, so again, if you notice, yung topic outline natin, mahaba to. Okay, so I was going over my slides earlier this morning, tapos sinignan ko. And then, naisip ko is, kasya kaya to sa 1 hour 30 minutes. So I'll do my best. I'll do my best to present this within the given time frame. So anyway, for the topic outline, we'll start off with the overview. Kumbaga, kung lang yan, ano? So kumbaga, that's just a simple introduction of what cost volume profit and break-even point is all about. So that's the overview. Tapos ang next i-discuss natin is assumptions and limitations. Again guys, mind you guys, very broad kasi ang coverage ng cost volume profit and break-even point. But we have to limit our discussion based on the limitations set by the CPA board exams and based on the practice of the accounting profession. Meron pa kasing area to, at the field of economics, meron pa to. So may mas malalim pang area pagdating sa econ, it's already more on curvilinear or long-term analysis na siya. So for today or for this afternoon, ililimit ko lang muna siya sa linear assumptions lang muna. Okay? So yun dito sa limitations and assumptions, because again, in managerial kasi or in decision making, for every area na papasokin natin, meron tayong mga limitations na tinitignan. Hindi basta-basta na nagko-compute na agad tayo, nag-analyze na tayo, hindi. Tinitignan muna natin yung parameters ng decision situation natin. And then methods of computing break-even point, we will just run through this. Okay, titignan natin yung mga usual equations ninyo. And then we will also discuss or present you the concept of margin of safety, so also known as the profit area in the field of economics. Ang medyo tatagal tayo ng araw na to or this afternoon would be the equations in BEP computation. So for this discussion, I will present to you yung marami kasing type of learners, ano, Meron tayong visual learners, meron din tayong analytical learners. But for this afternoon, I will combine both methods. Okay, para kasi nga multiple yung audience natin. Ano? So since multiple, I will combine teaching strategies. Meron tayong visual learners, pwede rin siya sa analytical learners. So gagamitin natin lahat. So kadalasan kasi dito sa cost volume profit and break-even point, yung mga most concern ng students natin is, sir, paano na-compute yun? Sir, bakit ganun? Okay, so this afternoon, I also have to show you kung bakit ganun yung equation mo, what is the logic behind. So guys, we do not memorize formula. Okay, hindi tayo nagme-memorize ng mga formula. Lahat ng formula, there's a logic behind. May concepts ha, may concept yon kung bakit ganun yung kinocompute mo. I will show you how. Okay, bakit ganun yung equation mo? What is the logic behind? Para hindi ka nagme-memorize. So guys, tandaan nyo na, hindi tayo nagme-memorize sa accounting. Puro tayo analysis. Kasi pag nag-memorize ka, makakalimutan mo yan. Pero pag nag-analyze ka, kahit balik-balik ta rin ang mundo mo, okay, kahit i-break ka ng kasintahan mo, hindi mo pa rin makakalimutan yung concept mo. Okay, so importante yon. So mag-analyze tayo mamaya sa equations, including including mixed break-even. A mixed break-even is more on companies that produce more than one product, which is in reality, sa totoong buhay, bihirang-bihira ang companies na nagbebenta lang ng isang product. Kadalasan ng mga company natin is nagbebenta sila ng multiple products because of product diversification. So for this afternoon, this is the first stage. First stage discussion to ng multiple product companies. Kasi maraming areas ng multiple product, ano? So meron tayo sa break-even point, meron tayo sa relevant costing, profit maximization, meron din tayo sa quantitative techniques under multiple products and multiple limited resources. So naka-connect lahat yon. Okay, naka-connect lahat yun. So for today, yung first stage of mixed break-even na yung titignan natin and profitability analysis niya. And then you also have the discussion on change in profit factors. Sa change in profit factors natin, ito yung analytical side. So approach ko sa inyo is we will start from the basic muna. Ito yung basic niyo. Sorry. Okay, ito yung basic natin. From the basic, susunod natin yung technical side, which is this one. Okay, so basics din to ha. Basic din yan. Tapos magta-technical side na tayo. This is already the technical side. Itong dalawang to. And finally, doon tayo sa analytical side, which is not the change in profit factors na. So, kumbaga, areas, titignan natin lahat na areas ng cost volume profit. Okay, so objectives. O nga pala, so objectives natin for this afternoon. Pansin nyo guys, dalawa lang, ano? So, isa lang ang simply stated, ang gusto lang natin mangyari sa inyo is dapat ma-attain mo itong dalawang to. So, pag na-attain natin itong dalawang to, successful na tayo for this afternoon's discussion. So, first and foremost is you must be able to assimilate the extraction of equations using CVP, BEP analysis. In other words, dapat maintindihan mo, hindi lang maintindihan, may apply mo rin, may ituro mo rin sa kaibigan mo or sa kaklase mo sa future na kung paano nakuha yung mga equations natin sa break-even point. So when I say equations, I'm just discussing about two or three equations. Marami equations yan guys. Okay, so kumbaga, yung presentation ko sa inyo na 100 plus, ang equation doon is more than almost 100 yung presentation ko doon. So doon yung makikita mo yung logic niya. As well as, syempre, hindi lang dapat assimilation of the extraction. Ang bottom line na pinaka-objective natin for today is dapat may apply mo yung concepts mo. So, ganun din kasi ang board exams. No? Sa board exam, dapat alam mo yung concept. After the concept, you must know how it is applied. Tapos pagdating na sa totoong buhay, how it is used in decision making na. So, since you are still, most of you are still in the undergrad, I believe most of you are malamang it's either third year or fourth year. Ang coverage kasi ng cost volume is or it's either depende sa curriculum. Meron sa inyo nakatapos na which already serve as a review. Others naman is somewhat in-offer pa lang this semester. Okay, or siguro kinukuha pa lang ngayong semester na to. So malaking tulong sa inyo to. Okay, malaking tulong. So dapat marunong din tayo mag-apply ng concepts and principles. Hindi lang yung memorize mo ha. Dapat marunong tayo mag-apply. Okay, so please do not memorize again. Okay, so overview question is, bakit nga pa nagkakaroon ng cost volume profit and break-even point analysis? So guys, simple lang to sa totoong buhay. Ang gusto natin, the reason why we entered into business is for us to generate profits. Yun ang primary purpose natin. Okay, kung bakit ka pumasok sa negosyo. So the reason is we want to determine how much is the minimum number of units that must be sold to generate profits? Di ba ganun yung objective natin? So, pag nagbenta tayo, ano kaya effect niya sa profit? Or yung sales natin, nagja-generate na ba ito ng profits or nane-net loss pa rin tayo? So yun ang gusto natin mangyari. So at the short run analysis, yun ang survival mo for the short run, which is more on profitability analysis ka. In the long run, okay, in the long run, sustainability ka na. In the long run, ang mangyari doon is you will now try to analyze, shift mo na yung cost elements mo from the variable cost towards the fixed cost, from labor intensive going to capital intensive industries, yun ang next na gagawin mo. So yun na yung tapos magte-take advantage ka na rin sa operating leverage. So yun ang situation pagdating sa totoong buhay. So dapat yun alam natin, okay? Alam mo kung saan mo to gagamitin sa future para ma-appreciate mo yung ginagawa mo ngayon. Okay, so guys, ganun din yun ha, pag nag-aral kayo sa accounting, isipin mo lang is saan ko kaya ito magagamit sa trabaho ko. Ayun, so para makaiwas tayo ng pinag-aaralan mo to tapos nagtataka, ala saan ko kaya ito magagamit? Parang useless, wala sa motivation yon. It will not motivate you. So dapat alam mo kung saan mo siya magagamit sa totoong buhay. So bottom line is, this is our topic for this afternoon is intended for profitability analysis in the future and to make sure that the company will be sustainable in the long run. Okay, so yun ang pinaka gamit nito. Anyway, basics muna tayo, no? So, kumbaga, this is somewhat introduction muna. It is, tayo nito, introducing to the basic concepts lang muna. So, ano nga bang cost volume profit analysis? Involves specifying a model of relations among the principles of products and volume or level of activity. In other words, what is cost volume profit analysis? Simple lang to guys. Okay, so pag simplify natin yung definition na nalagay sa presentation natin, it is simply asking us, meron akong sales units, meron akong selling price, meron akong variable cost, meron akong fixed cost. Pag pinag-combine ko lahat yon, pinaghalo-halo ko lahat yon, pinalitan ko isang factor, pinalitan ko multiple factors, what will happen to my net income? Will it increase or will it decrease? Yun ang tinitignan natin doon. Including if the company sells more than one product, so multiple product ng company natin, pag nagdagdag tayo ng product, shift natin yung mix sa product na to, product A to product B, what will happen to our profits? So in other words, ang cost volume profit analysis will give us an idea on what are the factors that will be changed. Tapos ano magiging effect niya sa net income natin. Yun ang pinaka definition ng cost volume profit analysis. So moreover, aside from that, it is also intended as what? Kasama to sa sensitivity analysis natin. In other words, what is sensitivity analysis? Sensitivity analysis is part of yun yung tinatawag natin na trial and error. Okay, so ito siya, no? So this model is used to predict the impact on profits or changes in those parameters. In other words, it will determine ano kaya yung best strategy na gagamitin natin, best decision na gagamitin natin para mag-increase yung profits ng company. That's cost volume profit analysis. And guys, in real world situations, we do that. Okay, ginagawa natin yan. Brainstorming yan. Kasama mo marketing, kasama mo production manager, kasama mo si accountant, okay, as well as top management. Pinag-uusapan yan. Ano kaya ang best na gagawin natin para mapag-survive yung company? Are we going to control our cost? Minimize ba natin yung cost natin? Increase ba natin yung ating sales units? I-lower ba natin yung selling price? Increase the selling price? Ginagawa natin yan sa totoong buhay. Okay? So, para ngayon, di ba? It's quite challenging of doing business today. So, it's quite challenging. So, yan naman ginagawa ng mga managers natin ngayon. So, they do changes in the components, in the cost volume profit components to determine or to maximize profits. So again, yun ang sa cost volume profit. Now, part of cost volume profit analysis is magkano kaya ang minimum? How much is my minimum sales units that na kailangan ko i-attain para mag-start ako mag-generate ng profits? Yun ang tinatawag natin na break-even point analysis. Okay, so again, mind you guys, ang break-even point was not even invented by accountants. Ang break-even point was created by sa field ng economics. So it just so happened na sa economics, meron tayong short-run test of profitability, tapos meron din tayong long-run test of profitability. Doon sa economics as well as in accounting, ang nirecognize natin sa accounting is the short-run test of profitability. which becomes the break-even point. Okay? So ito siya. So simply stated, again, pag sinabi natin break-even point, that is simply the point wherein revenues is equal to your total cost. TR is equal to TZ. There's neither profits nor there is losses. So yun siya, no? So that's break-even point. So anyway, continuing. So guys, yun lang yung mga introductory portion natin. Assumptions and limitations. Underlying break-even analysis. Again, this part of our theories. Simply stated, once you start computing cost volume profit analysis in the field of accounting or in the field of managerial accounting, dapat masatisfy natin ito mga assumptions na to. Ano nga ba ito mga assumptions at limitations? So number one, all costs are classified as either fixed or variable. So guys, in the field of accounting, tatlong ginagamit natin to allocate variable costs and fixed costs or to allocate semi-variable cost. So inallocate natin yan. So ano yung tatlong methods na yan? So number one is the easiest of them all, which is in consonance with the concept of relevant range. Yun yung ginagamit natin, the high-low points method. Okay? Sa high-low points method, under high-low points method, meron tayong the difference between the highest and the lowest in terms of cost and quantity. Tapos dinidivide natin to get the variable cost per unit. Okay, high-low points method lang yan. So I will not discuss much on the allocation of costs, no? So I'll just breeze through them for this afternoon. So high-low cost, high-low points method. The second one is yung scatter graph or the scatter plot. So gagawin natin yung mga samples natin. Lalagay mo siya sa scatter plot tapos hanapin natin yung slope of the line or yung slope or yung kanyang variable cost including the fixed cost components. And mind you guys, dun sa board exams, hindi tayo mag-graph sa board exams. Since hindi tayo mag-graph sa board exams, it is not really not a much na kailangan nating masterin yung concept ng scatter graph. However, at as much as possible, dapat meron ka pa ring idea. Kasi malay natin, di ba? Bigyan ka ng graph. Pagdating mo sa board exam, dapat marunong ka magbasa ng scatter graph. Okay? So, yun lang naman doon. And the third one is the methods of least squares. The methods of least squares is y is equal to a plus bx, yung equation na yan. Di ba? Tapos meron pa tayong the linear programming equations niya, a na x of x. So, meron yan. Ang question lang doon is, if the problem is silent, ano kaya gagamitin natin sa managerial accounting or simply stated in accounting? Ang sagot doon guys is, ang gagamitin natin doon is simply the high-low points method lang. Bakit high-low points method lang? Ang reason doon is because it is only high-low points method that supports the principle of the relevant range assumption. And mind you guys, dito sa atin, so sa decision making, including sa profitability analysis, relevant costing, ang tinitingnan natin lagi is the short run or the relevant range assumption lagi. So yun lang yun guys ha. So it must be classified as either fixed or variable. In other words, pag nag-cost value profit analysis tayo, hindi pwede na kasama sa ina-analyze natin is semi-variable cost. Dapat nahati na siya kaagad-agad. Okay? What is number 2 naman? Ang number 2 fixed cost remain constant within the relevant range is the relevant range assumption. What is the relevant range assumption? Ang relevant range assumption means ang ating cost behaviors, revenues, variable cost, and all other cost components are in straight lines. Naka-straight line yan. Mamaya meron tayong graphical presentation para ma-visualize nyo yung presentation natin. Okay? So fixed costs are constant in total. Pero in terms of variable cost naman, so recall na rin tayo guys ha, recall na rin, ano dapat ang behavior ng variable cost natin? Ang variable cost per unit natin should be constant per unit siya. Okay, so variable cost is constant per unit. Total fixed cost is constant in total. That is the relevant range assumption. It should hold true. It should hold true. Otherwise, pag hindi na siya relevant range, it becomes the curvilinear relationship na. Pag nag-curvilinear relationship na yan, hindi na pwedeng gamitan ng traditional break-even point analysis. Gagamitan na natin ang quadratic equation in computing for break-even point, which is already discussed in the field of economics. Okay, sa econ na yan. Medyo mas advanced na siya. Next limitation, the behavior of total revenues and total cost will be linear. Ito na yan, guys. So pag sinabi nating linear, kadalasan it is only within 1 year. Okay, pag hindi man 1 year, it's less than 1 year. So in other words, that's only for a short period of time. Why? Because eventually what happens, ang mangyari kasi sa ating relationship, from short run assumptions, it will become long run. Pag nag-long run na yan, parabolic na yung relationship ng total revenues at saka total cost components natin. Once naging parabolic yan, magbabago yung ating basis ng analysis. Okay, it would be different. So, ayun siya. So, it must be what? Linear or it's within the relevant range. So guys, may graph din yan ha. Makikita natin mamaya. So number 4, in case of multiple product companies, selling prices, cost, and proportion of unit sales mix sold will not change. In other words, ang assumption natin dito, yung sales mix natin ay constant. So, bakit nga ba, no? Bakit nga ba sales mix is constant? Pero ito muna, ano nga ba muna ang sales mix? Ang sales mix simply means that the company sells more than one product. So, pag nagbenta ka multiple product, which is sa totoong buhay, no? Ganun talaga sa totoong buhay. Birang-bira nagbebenta lang ng isang product. Meron tayong product diversification for you to survive the market and for you to survive the competition. Dapat multiple products ka. So, what happens? So in that situation, multiple product, nagbabago yung combination ng product mo is known as the sales mix. Okay? So other companies naman, they sell products na naka-package. So pag naka-package na yan, yung combination ng product niya is actually the sales mix. Others naman is yung preference ng customers. So di ba meron tayong best seller? O di ba ganun, pagpunta mo example sa restaurant, tatanan mo, ano yung best seller nyo? Yun din yung order mo. Tapos ano yung kasunod na best seller? Which is now the basis of determining the sales mix. So yung sales mix na yun will affect the contribution margin. Ang assumption natin dito is constant yung sales mix na product ng company. Again, that is still part of what? That's still part of the relevant range assumption pa rin yan. And next, number 5. What is number 5? There is no significant change in inventory level during the period under review. Why? Guys, sa number 5, babalikan ka nito sa concepts 1 na absorption costing and variable costing. Ano sabi sa variable costing and absorption costing? Nagkakaroon yan ng differences on the fixed overhead, on the treatment of the fixed overhead. Yung fixed overhead natin under absorption costing is treated as a product cost. And under variable costing naman treated as a period cost naman. Okay? Ang concern natin doon is pag significant ang deviation ng production in units against the sales units, what happens? The fixed overhead chargeable against revenue fluctuates. Nagbabago na yan. Okay? Problema kasi sa totoong buhay, ang company will prepare its income statement or profit and loss statement based on absorption costing. Iko-convert mo yan sa variable costing for managerial accounting purposes. Isa yan sa requirements ng cost volume profit. Dapat ma-convert siya into variable costing income statement. And at that point, nagkakaroon ngayon ng difference sa treatment ng fixed overhead. So because of that, kailan nagiging pareho? Okay, kailan nagiging pareho? Ang fixed overhead chargeable under absorption and under variable costing. Only if production is equal to sales. Kaya ito yun. That's assumption number 5. Okay? And guys, ito trivial question to ha. Trivial question to. Question, is the break-even point for variable costing the same with the break-even point for absorption costing? Okay? So isulat nyo lang sa comment section nyo sa Facebook ano yung tamang sagot doon. Is the break-even point for absorption costing the same with the break-even point for variable costing? Okay? Sasagutan ko yun mamaya. Okay? Sasagutan ko yun mamaya. Is it the same? Ayan, sige. So let me note it, variable versus absorption BEP. So sasagutan ko mamaya after our discussion. So ilagay nyo lang ha, lagay nyo lang. Okay, so ayun, may sumagot na. Ayan, anyway, let's continue. Okay. So basic ulit tayo guys. So kayo sa basic na naman. So, sige na nga, sagutan ko na. Nandun na, may sagot na eh. So yes, ang correct answer doon is the correct answer. So tinitignan ko rin yung ano na to. I'm monitoring your responses dito sa tabi ko ha. Okay? So correct. The break-even point of absorption costing is not the same with the break-even point for variable costing. Magkaiba sila ng formula. Ang i-discuss ko lang sa inyo ngayong araw na to is only for the variable costing break-even point lang, which is the limitations of the CPA board exams. If you plan to take the CMA exams, doon, ine-emphasize na natin yung break-even point ng absorption costing. Okay, so yun siya. That's correct. Okay, mga sagot nyo sa FB Live natin. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. medyo lalalim na tayo ha pag natapos ng mga introduction. So, bear with me muna sa mga intro kasi guys, diversified kasi ang audience. Meron mga first timers na makarinig sa itong break-even cost volume na to. Some of you naman is already review na lang sa inyo po. So, please bear with me pagdating sa basics. So anyway, classification of cost. Pag sinabi natin according to function, so it's simply classified as manufacturing, selling, and administrative. And kadalasan sa managerial accounting, tina-classify natin yan, yung mga cost components natin according to manufacturing, selling, and administrative. So, ginagamit din natin to. Okay, we also use this. Most especially, if you want to analyze what is inventoriable and what is not inventoriable, and most especially when we want to analyze what are the relevant cost components, tinitignan natin yan. Okay? However, for this afternoon, ang primary concern natin is classification of costs according to behavior. Guys, according to behavior ha. So variable at saka fixed. So eto tayo. This is the field of managerial accounting. We prefer it to classify it according to behavior. Ito yan. Behavior including at times according to function. But if we're in the field of financial accounting, ano yung classification ng cost natin? In financial account is classified according to the nature of expense naman. Ito naman siya, nature of expense. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi nga sa financial accounting, they have to prepare the statement of cash flows. What classification of cost supports preparation of statement of cash flows? Ang sagot doon, it is based on the nature of expense. Kaya sa financial, nature of expense. Sa managerial, more on behavior and more on the function. Okay, so nandun yung logic niya. Hindi lang basta-basta na trip lang sa financial, ito gusto namin. Sa managerial, ito gusto namin. Hindi. There's a reason behind kung bakit yun ang classification ng cost na iba-ibang areas. So yun ang magandang i-research. Yun ang magandang alamin. Okay, ano yung mga reason behind? So what are the cost behavior assumption naman? So basic pa rin to. I'm laying down the concepts na gagamitin natin mamaya. Meron tayong relevant range assumption, reverse demand effectivity. In other words, what is relevant range assumption? Ang relevant range assumption is straight line yung relationship ng revenues and cost natin, as well as the including yung quantity. In other words, ang total, yung fixed cost natin is constant in total, the variable cost is constant per unit, and the selling price is also constant per unit din siya. Yun ang relevant range assumption. And the relevant range is usually true within, eto na dito na pumasok si time assumption. That is only to usually within a short period of time. Ano yung short period of time na yan? Usually less than 1 year. Nabanggit ko na sa inyo to kanina. Once pinahaba mo pa yan, hindi na siya relevant range. Okay, magbabago na yan. It becomes curvilinear relationship na siya. Magiging parabolic na yung relationship ng total revenues and total cost natin. Okay, so ito yun. Relevant range assumption. So as well as the time assumptions. Next, okay. Guys, reviewin lang natin ha yung methods of computing break-even point. I'll just show you the 3 muna. And then from the 3, mag-in-depth analysis na tayo. So kumbaga, this is only a warm-up lang itong methods of computing the break-even point. First and foremost, this was the approach that was generated by the field of economics. Sa economics, meron tayo nito. Di ba? Ano sabi ko sa yung concept niya is, at break-even point, profit is equal to 0. There's neither profit nor net loss. So sa economics, TR is equal to TC. So mind you guys, alam nyo pagdating sa econ, yung TR is equal to TC na yan pagdating sa profit maximization, sakit sa ulo yan. Lalo na pag nag-derivatives na tayo, MR is equal to MC na. Magiging challenging yan pagdating sa quantitative techniques. So in other words, what is TR is equal to TC? So ito lang yung equation natin, ano? So X sales units, okay, units at break-even point, selling price per unit, variable cost, where TR is equal to selling price per unit multiplied with the quantity or sales units. Total cost naman is fixed cost plus variable cost multiplied with quantity. So ito, marami tayong may mga problems guys na kailangan natin gumamit ng algebraic approach. In fact, meron tayo sa mamaya. Just show you one, okay? Parang may example tayo dito. So this is actually the origin. Way back malamang nung we were in high school or senior high school, ito yung unang tinuro sa atin ng ating teacher. Okay, pagdating sa break-even point, TR is equal to TC. Sabi niya, no? So malamang master natin yan. Tapos nag-algebra ka. So again, guys, pala, na-recall ko lang, pagdating sa managerial, your skills in algebra is very important ha. Magagamit natin sa iba-ibang areas. Okay guys, number 2, we have the graphic approach naman. So again, what is the graphic approach? Dito mo rin makikita sa graphic approach yung linear relationship of revenues and the cost components. So ito siya. This is what? This is our total. Ito si total revenues, TR. Lagyan ko ng label. Bakit nawala yung label nito? Ay, hindi, meron pala. Sorry, meron. So, natakpan lang pala. Total sales or total revenue. Okay, total sales or total revenue. Tapos, nandito naman yung total cost natin. So, ito yung tinatawag na relevant range because it is in straight line relationships. You know? So, your fixed cost is constant in total. But, yung variable cost natin increases with the number of units. Increases with the number of units. So tumataas yan. Sumasabay si variable cost component natin. Kaya tuloy si total cost. Ang total cost natin is the fixed cost plus the variable cost component. So ito yung variable cost natin, di ba? Presented na na-separate graph. Ang itsura ng variable cost mo ganito. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Tumabing yung drawing natin. Okay? Guys, yan ang reason kung bakit nag-take ako ng accounting. Mahina ako sa drawing. Babaw, no? Okay, babaw ng reason, no? Okay? So, pagdating sa graph, ito yung tsura ng variable cost natin. Okay? Ganyan yung variable cost mo. So, variable cost plus fixed cost is equal to the total. Is equal to the total cost. Kaya ito yung naging total cost natin. So, it's straight lines. Pansin nyo, puro straight line. And the point we're in, the total revenue will intersect with the total cost. Pag nag-intersect na itong dalawang to, that is already the break-even point. Okay? So neither profits nor net loss. Guys, may question nito ako sa inyo. A question of logic to. Question of logic and common sense. Is it wise to operate at break-even point? Yes or no? O, lagay nyo ulit sa lagay nyo sa comment box natin. Is it wise to operate at break-even point? Yes or no? Sige, I'll just wait for a few seconds na may sumagot lang dun sa may, dito sa, sa Facebook Live natin. Is it wise to operate at break-even point? Yes or no? Okay. Ayan. So we already have initial answers. Ayan. Ang sagot doon, okay guys, let me rephrase the question ha. Payag ka ba na magpapagod ka ng isang taon? Tapos ang profit mo at the end of the year is 0. Payag ka ba nun? Siyempre ang sagot doon is no. Okay, so is it wise to operate at break-even point? The answer is no. Okay, because wala kang profit. Nagpagod ka, nagpuyat ka. Tapos magkano yung profit natin? 0. Okay, so hindi siya, it is not advisable. Pero bakit natin kinocompute ang break-even point? Reason nandito, para ma-attain mo ang profit. Break-even point is the minimum sales units that must be generated for you to start generating profits. Ito yon. Once you reach break-even point, once nalagpasan mo yan, nandito ka na sa concept ng margin of safety. In accounting, we call it as margin of safety. In the field of economics, we call it as the profit area. Paano mag-operate ka dito sa profit area na to? Okay? So once nag-operate tayo sa profit area na to, yan, that's the wise decision. You operate at the profit area, not at break-even point. Okay, so guys, I hope may nakuha tayo nun ha. May napulot tayo doon. That's the graphic approach. So next, mamaya, babalikan natin sa margin of safety ha. Babalikan natin yan. This is also known as the contribution margin method or formula approach. This is the approach that is usually used in accounting. So eto tayo, no? Ang question lang doon is, ano kaya logic nito? Bakit break-even point is fixed cost divided by selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit is CMU? Bakit kaya ganito to? Ba't kaya ganyan yung equation niya? What is the logic behind? Ituturo natin sa inyo yan. Susunod natin. Medyo mahaba-habang discussion yan. Ganun din si BEP pesos. Bakit kaya ganito? Bakit fixed cost over CMR? Will you be break-even point in pesos? What is the logic behind? Okay? So mamaya, ituturo ko sa inyo yan. So I'm just giving you the kumbaga, nag-warm up pa lang tayo. So, warm up pa lang to. Wala mag-alas dos na, warm up pa lang. So, anyway, let's continue. Ito yung concept ng margin of safety. So, what is margin of safety and how come it is known as margin of safety? Guys, it is known as margin of safety because it is known as margin of safety because it is no, it is the area that generates profit. Ito yon. Okay? May question ulit ako sa inyo. Superlative degree pa to ha. We only generate profits at margin of safety. Yes or no? Okay, superlative degree yun guys. You only generate profits at margin of safety. Yes or no na naman. Okay, so alagay nyo ulit sa FB Live natin ha, yung sagot nyo. Okay? So ulitin ko for the last time, we only generate profits at margin of safety. Yes or no? Okay? So, ang sagot doon, okay? Ang sagot doon ay, ano kaya sagot doon? Ayan, you already have initial answers, ano? Ang sagot doon is, the answer is yes. Okay, totoo yun. You only generate profits at margin of safety because the margin of safety is known as the profit area. Kaya siya tinawag na profit area. It is known as margin of safety because sales can decline. Sales can decline within this level. Or pag sa unit sana, ano, ito yung volume, pag pesos sana, nandito yung sales natin. Sales can decline within this area without incurring any loss. Kaya tinawag na margin of safety. O natagdagan yung kaalaman mo. Kaya ganun yung pangalan niya, margin of safety. Kahit mag-decline man dito sa area na to, may profit ka pa rin. Once lumagpas ka sa margin of safety, lower than margin of safety is already what? Break-even point na yan. And what is break-even point? Wala ka ng profit. Di ba? Ano sabi natin kanina? It is not wise to operate at break-even point kasi walang profit yon. Mas masama pag yung sales level mo is now lower than the break-even point. Lower than the break-even point, what happened? Na net loss ka na. O, ito na yan, net loss na. Okay? So, yun ang concept ng margin of safety. It is known as margin of safety because sales can decline within that area, within the profit area, without incurring any losses. Okay? So again, guys, sana may napulot kayo sa concept ngayon. Okay? Tinawag na margin of safety. Ito siya. Indicates amount of its by which actual or planned sales may be reduced without incurring any losses. Ito yun. Pagdating naman sa formula, what is margin of safety? It is the difference between actual or planned sales volume or break-even sales. In other words, what is margin of safety? Mas madali i-visualize pagdating sa graph, that is the sales beyond the break-even point. Paano mag-compute ng margin of safety? Total sales minus break-even sales. Ganun lang yan. Okay guys, dito tayo. Mag-technical analysis tayo. Equations and break-even point computation. So, ito siya. Okay, so guys, bring out your pencils or pens. Please take note. Ito yung mga equations natin. But anyway, if this is recorded, okay lang. Maganda na ma-upload din sa FB page ng National Federation. Okay, kasi marami kayong mapupulot dito. Marami. So, equations in BEP competition. We start off with the basics. Ang pinaka-basic lang nito is the concepts of variable costing. Anong sabi sa variable costing natin? Sa variable costing natin, we have total sales. Total sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution margin. Yun ang pinaka-simple nun. Okay? So guys, simply stated, ang total sales natin is simply composed of two elements. Anong dalawang elements na yun? Yung dalawang elements na yun is the variable cost and the contribution margin. Okay? However, what happens? Yung contribution margin natin will be split further into two. And what happened? So the contribution margin, total contribution margin minus the fixed cost is equal to profit. In other words, ang total sales natin is simply composed of what? Tatlo. Okay? Pag in-split mo further, yung contribution margin mo, magiging tatlo na yan. Meron siyang variable cost, meron siyang fixed cost, at saka meron din siyang profit. Okay? So meron siya. And what happens? Ito na yan. Okay? If it is split further, ano nangyari sa total sales natin? So I hope nasusundan nyo yung presentation niya. From the total sales, what happens? Naging variable cost, profit at saka fixed cost na siya. And what will happen further? This will now be further subdivided into the two sales levels. Itong variable cost na yan, yung variable cost na yan, pwede mo siyang hatiin. Hiwalay mo yung variable cost within the profit area and the variable cost within the fixed cost area. Mahati yan sa further into two. So ito siya, no? So ito na yung itsura niya. Naging ganyan na siya. Tapos ito rin. Ito na siya. Ano tawag natin sa sales level na yan? Ano yung tawag natin sa sales level na to? If you notice, itong sales level na to, variable cost and fixed cost, that is the point wherein your total cost is equal your total sales. And ano naman tong sales level na to? This is already the sales beyond the break-even point. So in other words, ano nangyari? Ayan, ang naging the variable cost and profit beyond the break-even point is better known as the margin of safety, as presented to earlier in the graph. Guys, this is accounting approach. Ang present natin kanina is di ba tatlong approach? Meron tayong graphical, meron tayong equation, meron tayong formula. This is accounting approach using variable costing. Okay? So para mas madali nyo maintindihan. So from the variable cost plus the profit is known as the margin of safety. Guys, ang margin of safety natin, dalawa pa rin yung elements ng meron doon. Meron siyang variable cost, meron siyang profit. Ganun din yung break-even point mo. Ang break-even point natin, meron siyang variable cost, meron siyang fixed cost. It just so happened na itong sales level na to is the point wherein total revenues is equal to the total cost. Kaya siya naging break-even point in sales units or in sales pesos. Okay? So, ito ang gagamitin natin to extract your equations using your, kasi some of you visualize. Pag nagko-compute, nag-visualize kung saan nanggaling equation na yan. Using this equation, using this mga box na to, yan ang gagamitin natin. Okay? Ito na siya, guys. So, in other words, yung total sales natin was nahati into two, the margin of safety sales and the break-even sales. Okay? So, ito na siya. Formula derivation. Guys, huwag niyong kakalimutan to, ha? Very important to. The contribution margin at margin of safety is equal to the profit. Okay? And the contribution margin at total contribution margin at break-even point is equal to the fixed cost. Wag na wag niyong kakalimutan to. This is very important pagdating sa basic concepts. It is also very important pagdating sa constructive problems. Ilang beses natin gagamitin natin yun mamaya pag gumamit na tayo ng constructive approaches. Okay? So, yun siya. Anyway, ito yung logic ng break-even point in unit. Bakit nga ba the formula of break-even point in units is as follows? So guys, ganito kasi yung concept niya. So, present natin para maintindihan nyo, para masundan nyo, concentrate yung mga, may mga colors lang. Okay, concentrate lang ha. So yun in-analyze natin. To compute for break-even point, ang concern kasi doon is, ilang fixed cost, ilang contribution margin ang kailangan ko para ma-recover ko yung aking fixed cost. Okay? So, before that, let me discuss to you first the concept of contribution margin. Nakalimutan ko yata i-discuss ang concept ng contribution margin. It is known as contribution margin because contribution margin has two major functions. Aning dalawang major function ng contribution margin? Number one is to recover fixed cost. Once na-recover mo ang fixed cost mo, yung second objective ng contribution margin is to generate profits. So dalawa yun. It is to recover fixed cost and to generate profits. Kaya siya tinawag na contribution margin. Okay? So eto yon. Kaya pagdating sa break-even point, total contribution margin is yun yung fixed cost natin. Ilang contribution margin ang kailangan ko para ma-recover ko yung aking fixed cost. Eto yon. Kaya tuloy, what is break-even point in unit? That's total fixed cost divided by contribution margin per unit. Guys, ang total fixed cost natin, bakit to in units? Ang total fixed cost natin is stated in pesos. Ang contribution margin per unit is also stated in pesos din. Okay, naka-pesos din yan. Ano basic rule natin sa mathematics? Sa basic rule in mathematics, yung numerator mo is sa total amount stated in pesos. Yung denominator mo is per unit, naka-per unit siya, pero stated in pesos. Sa mathematics, eliminated yung unit of measure. Ang maiwan is, naka-units na lang. Kaya ganyan yung equation ng break-even point in units mo. Okay? So, BEP units. Alam pa. Okay? If total sales units is composed of, di ba ano yung total sales natin? Composed of marginal safety sales and break-even sales. Therefore, how do you compute for break-even point? Or hence, how do you compute for break-even point? Ito na siya. Pagdating sa constructive problems, dapat marunong ka gumamit na alternative methods. Okay? Ang discussion natin for this afternoon, hindi lang magbe-basic. Isasagad natin yan sa constructive methods nyo. So other times, the break-even point is also computed as what? Total sales units minus the marginal safety units. Ang question lang doon is, sir, paano mag-compute ng marginal safety units? Guys, maraming approaches kung paano i-compute ang marginal safety units. Ituturo ko rin sa inyo yan mamaya. Magka-constructive approaches tayo. Okay? So that's break-even point in units. Okay, next. Ito yung mga madadali pa to guys. Madadali pa to. Ano naman si break-even point in sales pesos? So ganito lang yun. Same principle na naman. Same concept behind. Ang concept pa rin nito is, if break-even point, assuming lang guys assuming wala tong margin of safety na yan. If there is no margin of safety, it simply means ang total sales, break-even sales is 100%. Or within the break-even sales, the break-even sales is the 100%. If BP sales is 100%, and the fixed cost is equal to the total contribution margin, hence, if you want to determine the break-even point in pesos, ilang contribution margin ang kailangan ko para ma-recover ko ulit si fixed cost ko. Ito na naman yon. So pagka-divide natin doon, total fixed cost, ano to? Total fixed cost is stated in pesos ulit yan guys. Okay, naka-pesos yan. Si contribution margin ratio naman is stated in percentage. Basic rules in mathematics. Pesos divided by percentage. Ang unit of measure na may iwan is yung numerator mo, which is the pesos. So kino-compute natin yung break-even point in pesos yung lalabas. Okay? And another equation na naman. If total sales pesos is composed of marginal safety sales and break-even sales, another way of computing break-even point is what? Di syempre, simple lang naman guys, no? That is just what? Total sales minus marginal safety sales. Again, is equal to what? It's equal to the break-even point in sales pesos na naman. Okay? Yun yung mga madadali pa lang. Okay, madadali pa lang yan, guys. Dito tayo. Okay. Contribution margin per unit. Kadalasan, basta break-even point problems, one of the most important na kailangan nating malaman is paano mag-compute ng contribution margin per unit. Kadalasan yung una nating hinahanap, magkano CMU. So, maraming methods ang pag-compute ng CMU. Guys, this is the easiest. Contribution margin per unit is simply computed as selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. That is the easiest. Okay, pinakamadali yan. Meron pa isa. Isa ring madali. Okay? Another one, if its total sales is composed of, again, ang total sales natin is composed of variable cost and contribution margin. Yung contribution margin na yan, i-divide mo lang ng sales mo. Okay? Will already give us what? Contribution margin per unit ulit pa. Total contribution margin divided by sales units again will give us contribution margin per unit. Guys, ito yung dalawang basic niyo. Basic lang yan. Magko-constructive tayo. Okay, ito siya. Kanina, na-present natin sa inyo ang equation ng break-even point. Break-even point is simply computed as, in units, is simply computed as fixed cost divided by contribution margin per unit. Basic rules in mathematics. Okay, so laruin mo yung math mo. Okay, maglaro ka lang sa math. Simply stated, pag ni-reverse natin equation na yan, gusto mong makompute ngayon ng CMU. Anong gagawin mo? Contribution margin per unit is simply computed as what? Fixed cost over the break-even point in units. Ito na siya. I will give you contribution margin per unit. Simula na to sa constructive approaches natin. Okay, lalalim na to guys. Lalalim na. Next approach. Next approach. Kanina, ang tinignan natin is yung behavior, yung relationship ng fixed cost at saka break-even point. Ano next na titignan natin? Ang next na titignan natin ngayon is yung relationship ng marginal safety naman. Okay? Ito naman siya. If the profit at marginal safety is equal to the contribution margin, gusto natin kunin ang contribution margin per unit, ano ang gagawin natin? Okay, so guys, ito lang yon. So, i-divide mo ulit. Ito siya, no? It is simply computed as the profit divided by the marginal safety units is equal to contribution margin per unit. Balik ko saglit ha. Ito yun. If fixed cost divided by BEP units is equal to, if fixed cost divided by BEP units is equal to contribution margin per unit, it simply means that profit divided by marginal safety units is also equal to what? Contribution margin per unit din. Okay, ito siya. Okay? Alam niyo kung bakit? Because, dito tayo, analyze tayo dito. What is fixed cost plus profit? Ang fixed cost plus profit when combined will give us total contribution margin. What is break-even point plus marginal safety units? What is BEP units plus marginal safety units? It is equal to the total sales units. Ito yun. So, simply stated, ano ginawa natin sa total contribution margin at total sales units natin? Hinati lang natin yan sa dalawang sales level. The marginal safety sales and the break-even sales level. Kaya naging ganun yung equation ng contribution margin per unit. Okay? Meron pa. Okay, meron pa. Again, yung concept na naman na to, if the fixed cost at break-even point is equal to the total contribution margin, what happens? Guys, ito ginagamit natin sa incremental approach. Incremental approach, the change in fixed cost, change in total fixed cost divided by the change in break-even point in units, again, is equal to the contribution margin per unit. Ginagamit natin yan sa constructive methods, sa incremental approaches. Okay, so ito siya, change in fixed cost over change in BEP units. Next, another constructive approach na naman. If total sales is composed of variable cost and contribution margin, hence, within the relevant range, the change in total contribution margin divided by the change in sales units again is equal to the contribution margin per unit na naman yan. Guys, may mga problems tayo. That was given before in the board exams na if the company generates sales, example at 2,000 units, ito yung kanyang net loss. And if the company naman will generate sales, let's say at 5,000 units, ito naman yung profit niya. Ay tatanong sa iyo doon is compute for the break-even point in units. Incremental approach na yun. Okay, so anyway, we have examples later on. Okay, meron tayo niyan. So guys, maraming formula ang contribution margin per unit. Okay, marami yan. So pagdating sa board exam, ang labanan sa board exam is the more approaches that you know, the faster na makapag-compute ka. Ang concern kasi natin sa exam is yung oras. Time pressure yan eh. So mas marami yung alam mo na approach, mas mabilis ka. Meron tayong tinatawag na the long cut approach, meron tayong tinatawag na the shortcut approach. Mamaya makita yan pag in-apply natin sa illustrative problems natin. Okay, let's continue. How about si contribution margin ratio? Kadalasan si contribution margin ratio, kailangan natin to compute for break-even point in sales pesos naman, including the desired sales. Okay, so ito siya. Itong pinaka-simpleng equation natin, CMR is simply computed as contribution margin per unit divided by the selling price per unit. That is better known as the per unit approach. So ganyan lang ang per unit approach. Ganyan lang kadali pag per unit approach. However, tinotal approach natin to, again, sales is composed of what? Yung dalawang elements na to. In other words, sales is always 100%. Component lang niya ang contribution margin. Ilang percent ang contribution margin compared sa total sales? Kaya pag divide natin, total contribution margin divided by the total sales pesos, again, will give us what? Contribution margin ratio na naman yun. Okay, CMR ulit yun. Those are the basics. Okay, dito tayo. Total sales is 100%, hence, ito naman yung assumption na sales is always equal to 1. Okay, sales is equal to 1. What happens? 1 minus variable cost ratio is equal to the contribution margin ratio. Okay? Another equation for contribution margin ratio. Basic pa lang yan. Constructive tayo. Okay, constructive tayo. If break-even point in pesos is equal to fixed cost over CMR, pag ni-reverse natin to equation na to, what happens? If we reverse this equation, CMR is equal to what? CMR is equal to fixed cost over break-even point in pesos. Ito na yun. Okay, pag ni-reverse mo. Ito siya, di ba? Okay, ito siya. So, simply stated, break-even point is computed as fixed cost over CMR. Therefore, pag ni-reverse mo, it is now contribution margin ratios na computed as your fixed cost over the break-even point in pesos. Okay? So, ganun lang yon. Now, ang tinignan natin doon is yung point of view ng break-even point. Kaya naging ganito yung equation niya. Ang next na titignan natin is yung point of view ni margin of safety. If fixed cost over BEP pesos is equal to contribution margin ratio, what happens if you divide profit divided by margin of safety pesos? What will happen? Okay? Mangyari doon, ito siya. That is profit divided by margin of safety pesos, again, will give us what? Okay, it will give us the contribution margin ratio na naman. Okay, so next. Okay, next. Meron pa. Incremental approach. So total contribution margin. Ito na naman, ano? So total contribution margin at break-even point is equal to the fixed cost. So change in fixed cost divided by the change in break-even point in pesos, again, will give us what? Contribution margin ratio na naman. Okay, CMR ulit yan. Ayan. So I'm laying down the equations. So again, I hope nasusundan yung mga kung paano siya nakuha. I'm just using this one sa ginagamit lang natin itong mga etong relationship ng ano na to, contribution margin in the margin of safety, contribution margin at break-even point. Tapos yung breakdown niya. So yun ang tinitingnan natin. Next, talk na natin yung mga formula ninyo. And mind you guys, ang counterpart nito sa advanced accounting is doon sa installment sales. Under installment sales, meron tayong realization of profit based on passage of time and based on collection. Tapos kadalasan na yung tinatanong sa inyo doon is paano mag-compute ng gross profit rate. Tama? Okay? So yung concept nun, yung ginagamit natin yung approach na to is the same with the concept of installment sales based on revenues generated based on passage of time. Okay? So parehong-pareho siya. Only difference is dito ang ginagamit natin is variable costing. Pagdating naman sa installment sales, ang gagamitin natin doon ay concepts ng absorption costing, but they have the same concept. Pareho lang. So guys, this is the contribution margin ratio. Ayan yan. So meron pa isa. If total sales is composed of, again, the variable cost and total contribution margin, therefore, this is again intended for incremental approach. The change in total contribution margin divided by change in sales pesos, again, will give us contribution margin ratio. So guys, ang dami ko nang naibigay sa inyo na equations ng contribution margin ratio. Ang question lang doon is, kailan mo siya gagamitin? Ang sagot doon is depende sa given situation, depende sa problem, tapos depende rin yung tinatanong sa'yo. Okay, so mamaya, meron tayong gagamitin nito. Meron tayo niyan. Okay, so next, let's continue. How about the variable cost ratio? Variable cost ratio also vital in our analysis. Kasi kailangan natin yung kadalasan to compute for the contribution margin ratio. The easiest equation for variable cost ratio is variable cost per unit divided by the selling price per unit. Guys, yan ang pinakamadali. Okay? Or, ginamit natin yung total approach, it is simply what? Again, variable cost is also a component of our total sales. So pag divide natin yan, variable cost ratio is total variable cost divided by total sales pesos lang. Ganun lang siya kadali. Okay? Dito tayo. Also computed as, if again sales is 100%, ito yung counterpart kanina. Di ba? Ano sabi natin? Contribution margin ratio is 1 minus the variable cost ratio. Pag ni-reverse mo, automatic, 1 minus contribution margin ratio will give us the variable cost ratio. Okay? So ito siya. Next. Okay, next. Fixed cost. Guys, kadalasan, pagdating sa constructive problems, ito yung unang nawawala. Ito yung problem, ito yung information na kailangan nating hanapin. And there are multiple ways of getting fixed cost. So dapat marunong tayo kumuha nito. Yung mga problems na ganito, given yung last year, tapos changes that will happen this year. Kasi itatanong sa'yo, compute for break-even point, nawawala yung fixed cost. Kaya dapat marunong mag-compute ng kung magkano si fixed cost. So paano nga ba? Okay? We have multiple ways. Depending kung ano gagamitin natin. We can use the total cost approach. We can also use the total contribution margin. Ganito kasi yan, guys. Okay, ganito yan. Total cost is variable cost plus fixed cost. Therefore, total cost minus variable cost is equal to the fixed cost. Yun ang total cost approach. What is contribution margin approach? Total contribution margin minus fixed cost is equal to profit. Pag ni-reverse mo yan, total contribution margin minus profit is equal to what? Is equal to fixed cost. Kaya ito yung unang dalawa. Okay, ito siya. Ito, it's the total cost approach. Total cost minus variable cost is equal to your fixed cost. Ito naman is the contribution margin approach naman to. Total CM minus profit is equal to the fixed cost pa rin. Okay? Meron pa. Yan pa lang yung unang dalawa. Those are the easy ones. Meron pa. If break-even point in units is computed as fixed cost over CMU, gusto mong i-compute si fixed cost, anong gagawin mo? Baliktarin mo. Okay, bumaliktad ka. CMU times or BEP units times CMU is equal to what? It's equal to the fixed cost. Okay? Meron pa. Ito, break-even point in pesos is equal to the fixed cost over CMR. Gusto mo i-compute si contribution margin ratio. What do you do? Gusto mo i-compute si fixed cost, Anong gagawin mo? Multiply mo ulit, di ba? Multiply mo ulit. Break-even point in pesos times contribution margin ratio is equal to the fixed cost na naman. Okay, so guys, maraming methods kung paano kunin si fixed cost. I really hope na pag nandun ka na sa situation na yon, nasa board exam ka na, nag-exam ka na ganyan, tapos constructive problem, tapos kailangan mo mag-compute ng break-even point, tapos nawawala si fixed cost, I hope matandaan mo tong tinuro kong constructive approach sa'yo. Okay? Na habang nag-exam ko, tinuro dati sa akin to nung nag-webinar kami. Sana, okay, maalala mo siya pag umabot na sa araw na yon. Okay? Sa BEP, pag-compute ng fixed cost. Paano mag-compute ng margin of safety units? Okay, again, by definition, a margin of safety is simply the sales beyond break-even point. Excess sales lang yan. So, eto ulit, So, I hope you are learning with the visual. This is the visual approach. Etong mga box na yan. Tapos yung equation, yung the analytical approach na yan. So, total sales is composed of margin of safety and break-even point. If you want to compute for margin of safety, total sales minus break-even point lang yun. Okay, so total sales minus BEP unit. Guys, that is the easiest approach kasi yun ang pinaka-definition niya. Okay, pero may constructive approach tayo. If the total contribution margin at break-even point is at margin of safety, is equal to the profit, and I want to compute. Gusto kong ma-compute si margin of safety units ko. Ano ay gagawin ko? Guys, ito lang yan. Profit divided by contribution margin per unit is equal to what? The margin of safety units. Ito yon. Balikan natin ha. Let me present you the logic. Yan lang yan guys. If fixed cost over CMU is BEP, automatic profit over CMU is equal to margin of safety. Okay, ganun lang kadali yun. Kaya nga, profit plus fixed cost divided by CMU will give me what? Total sales units. Okay, mamaya, papakita ko rin sa inyo yung mga paano kinompute si sales units. Meron din tayo nun. Okay, so ayun yung logic nun. How about margin of safety pesos? Again, by definition, excess sales lang yan. Total sales is composed again of margin of safety and break-even point. So, total sales minus BEP is equal to what? Margin of safety pesos. That's the easiest na naman by definition. Now, what happens naman? Okay, what happens pag idinaan natin sa contribution margin sa CMR? Guys, ganito yung logic nito. If fixed cost over CMR is equal to break-even point, automatic profit divided by CMR is equal to what? The margin of safety. Okay, so eto yun. Profit over CMR is equal to the margin of safety pesos. How about margin of safety ratio? Ang concept ng margin of safety ratio, take note guys, ang total sales natin, both kasama doon ang margin of safety and break-even point. Pag tinotal sales mo yan, that's always 100%. And it just so happened that margin of safety is only component of that total sales. Component lang doon. Ito siya. Paano mag-compute ng margin of safety ratio? Guys, madali lang. O depende. Margin of safety pesos over total sales pesos, MSR mo na yan. Pag nag-peso approach ka. Pag nag-per unit approach ka naman, margin of safety units divided by total sales units again will give you margin of safety ratio pa rin. Those are the basics. Okay? Tayo sa mas mahirap. Ito tayo sa constructive approach. If total contribution margin is composed of the profit and fixed cost. Di ba ito yan? Profit and fixed cost. Guys, pag dinan natin yan sa contribution margin, paano makakompute si margin of safety ratio? Guys, simple lang. Yung total contribution margin na yan is the 100%. That is the contribution margin of the total sales. How much is the contribution margin of the margin of safety? It is equal to the profit. It's only a component of the total contribution margin. Pag dinivide mo ang profit over total contribution margin will give you what? Margin of safety ratio. Ito na yan. So, profit divided by total contribution margin is equal to what? Again, the margin of safety ratio na naman yun. Okay, guys, wala yan sa libro. Okay? So, marami kong tinuturo sa inyo this afternoon na wala sa libro. Most of them are only what? Ang makikita mo sa libro, mga basics lang. Okay, mga basic approaches lang. Pagdating na sa mga advanced presentations, including sa constructive approaches, wala yun sa mga textbooks. Okay, wala. Hinahanap natin yung mga ina-analyze yung mga yun. So next, paano mag-compute ng profit naman? Kasi ito naman si profit. Using total revenue and total cost. Pinakasimple muna guys. Profit is equal to what? Total revenue minus total cost. How do you compute for profit? Using contribution margin naman. Kasi mas total contribution margin minus fixed cost. Those are the easiest approaches. Ito yung unang dalawa. Guys, madali lang yan. Basic mo yan. Yan ang pinaka-basic mo. Constructive tayo. Ito na si constructive mo. If contribution margin per unit, if the contribution margin at margin of safety is equal to the profit, gusto i-compute si profit, anong gagawin ko? Okay guys, simple lang. If contribution margin per unit is equal to profit divided by MOS units, hence, if I want to compute my profit, anong gagawin ko? I-multiply ko margin of safety units multiply with my contribution margin per unit. Ito na siya. It also give us what? Profit pa rin yan. Okay, profit pa rin yan. That's the first approach. Second approach, malamang alam mo na to. If the contribution margin ratio is profit divided by margin of safety pesos, what happens? Multiply mo lang. Therefore, margin of safety pesos multiply with the contribution margin ratio will give me what? It will again give me my profit na naman. Ito yun. Okay, ito na yun. Margin of safety pesos times contribution margin ratio again will give me my profit ulit. Okay, next tayo. If sales is 100%, hence, okay, profit is only a component of total sales. Babalik tayo sa concepts mo ng ratio analysis. Di ba sa ratio analysis, meron tayong rate of return on sales? What is rate of return on sales? That's net income or profit over total sales. To compute for profit, what do you do? Total sales multiply with the net profit ratio. Ito na yan. Total sales, okay, pesos multiply with the net profit ratio again will give us the profit na naman. Okay, so another equation for the profit. Next, if total contribution margin is equal to the fixed cost plus profit, hence, okay, how do you compute for the profit? Ito yun guys. Importante kasi to, no? Importante yung concept na to. The contribution margin of safety is equal to the profit. And this is the margin of safety area. In other words, total contribution margin. Ito na yun. In other words, total contribution margin multiplied with the margin of safety ratio. You are isolating the contribution margin at margin of safety. It is equal to what? What is the contribution margin again at margin of safety? It is equal to the profit na naman. Okay, so ito yun. Kaya ganyan equation ng profit natin. Next, net profit ratio. Okay, we're almost done. Almost done with the technical side. Mas mag-a-apply na tayo, application side na tayo. Net profit ratio. Okay, total sales is always 100%. Profit is only portion of total sales. Rate of return on sales. What is rate of return on sales? Profit divided by total sales. That is the easiest. Okay, ang pinakamadali. Ano kasunod? If total contribution margin of safety is equal to the profit, hence, you want to compute for the profit. Anong gagawin mo? Guys, eto na yon. Isa to sa mga constructive approaches na ginagamit natin. Once you multiply contribution margin ratio, multiply with the margin of safety ratio, ang nakuha mo is already the net profit ratio. And, okay, dagdagan pa natin. So, nadagdagan na naman yung pag-compute mo ng margin of safety ratio and contribution margin ratio. If net profit ratio is CMR times MSR, what happens? Therefore, hence, marginal safety ratio is equal to the net profit ratio over CMR, and contribution margin ratio is equal to the net profit ratio over the marginal safety ratio. Okay? So these are again constructive approaches na naman to. So guys, absorb as many as you can. Okay? Inuulanan ko kayo ng mga approaches ninyo. So as much as possible, absorbin mo yung kaya mong i-absorb. Okay? So gaya ng sabi ko sa inyo, pag in-upload to, balik-balikan nyo to ha. These are the technical side of what we're doing this afternoon. Ma-appreciate mo tong mga to mamaya pag nag-illustrative problems tayo or practice problems tayo. How do you compute for total sales? Guys, ang total sales, ginagamit natin to sa pricing decisions. So total sales units, including your total sales pesos, is very vital pagdating sa pricing decisions. So ganito lang yan. Okay? Total sales units, basic muna. Total sales pesos over selling price per unit is equal to the total sales units. O basic lang yon, basic lang. Okay? Now, this is the expanded version. If total sales is broken down into marginal safety and break-even sales, pag pinag-add natin itong dalawan to, DAP units plus marginal safety units again is equal to the total sales units. And add natin yan sa contribution margin mo. Nabanggit ko na sa inyo to kanina. Okay, in fact, nabanggit ko yan. So, what happens? Total, that is your fixed cost plus profit. Ito yun. Fixed cost plus profit is equal to the total contribution margin divided by CMU. It's equal to what? Total sales units. Again, ang reason doon is because fixed cost plus profit is equal to total contribution margin. Okay? Divided by CMU is equal to our total sales. Fixed cost over CMU is BEP units. Profit over CMU is equal to margin of safety units. Pag tinotal mo itong dalawan to, ano to? That's total sales units. Okay? Next, how about total sales pesos? If total sales is composed again of margin of safety sales and break-even sales, to get total sales, ano lang gagawin mo? Siyempre, add mo lang yung dalawa. Okay? So total sales pesos is what? Total sales units multiplied with selling price per unit. That's the usual, that's the basic. Or i-add mo yung dalawang sales level natin. The break-even sales and the margin of safety sales. Pagka-total mo, total sales pesos na yun. Yun yung basic. Okay? Advance tayo. Total contribution margin approach. Ito. Total contribution margin divided by contribution margin ratio will give us what? It will give us our total sales pesos mo na to. Why? Reason is fixed cost over CMR is BEP pesos. Profit over CMR is equal to margin of safety pesos. In other words, okay, pag pinagsama mo yan, total sales. Pag pinagsama mo si fixed cost and profit, total contribution margin over CMR is again will give us what? Total sales pesos na naman yun. Okay? Yan lang yun. Okay, yan lang yun. Dito tayo. Okay, application tayo. Guys, interactive tayo. So, sige. Ilagay nyo yung sagot niya, ilagay nyo. Okay. Anyway, problem number 1. Problem number 1 is lifted from the CMA. So, basic to, basic lang. Fluid Electronics company is developing a new product, surge protectors for high voltage electrical flows. Cost information below relates to the product. We have unit cost, okay, materials, labor, and distribution. The company will be absorbing 120,000 of additional fixed costs associated with this new product. A corporate fixed charge of 20,000, okay, currently absorbed other products will be allocated to this new product. Ayan. Tapos, if the selling price is 14 per unit, how many units are needed to break even for surge protectors? Sige, application tayo. Guys, ang natapos natin is, sa mga formula ninyo, yun yung technical side. Kanina, concept, introduction ng concept. After introduction of the concept, you now have the technical side, presentation of the equation. From the equation, ano next objective natin? You must know how to apply yung mga na-present sa inyo. So application tayo. So interactive tayo guys ha. Comment kayo sa Facebook natin, sa Facebook Live natin. Analyze tayo saglit. Binigyan ka ng variable cost, 325 plus 4 plus 75 cents. Ang total lang yan is 8 pesos. Okay, 8 pesos. Binigyan ka rin ng selling price na 14. With 14 na selling price, automatic as an accounting student, okay, hindi na yan kina-calculator, 14 minus 8 will give us what? Okay, 14 minus 8 will give us? It will give us 6. Okay, 6 na yun. Question is, how much is the break-even point? Okay, break-even point. So, ganito lang yun. Meron tayo, ang challenge dito, kung bakit naging challenging tong problem na to is, dahil binigyan tayo ng fixed cost na 120,000. From the 120,000 na fixed cost, binigyan pa tayo ng additional fixed cost of 20,000. And it is now asking us compute for the break-even point. Okay? First concern natin doon. Itong 20,000 na to, yung 20,000 na to, relevant ba yan sa ating computation? Yes or no? Okay? Relevant ba si 20,000? Sa 20,000 pesos na to, relevant ba yan? Yes or no? O yun muna. Guys, comment lang kayo ha. Comment nyo lang sa Facebook Live natin. Is the 20,000 pesos additional fixed charge relevant to the computation? Yes or no? Is it relevant? Okay. The answer is no. Alam niyo kung bakit? Ang tinatanong dito is break-even point of the product. So dito papasok yung concepts mo ng controllability of cost and profitability analysis of cost elements. So doon papasok. If it is not controllable or it is not attributed directly to the product, it is not relevant to the analysis, profitability analysis of the product. Hindi. Okay, so ang sagot doon ay no. Okay, tandaan nyo yun na importante yun. This is product profitability analysis. If it is not directly related to the product, it must not be included in analyzing the profitability of the product. Itong 20,000 na to is allocated cost. Tandaan nyo yung concepts mo ng responsibility accounting. If it is allocated, it is not relevant in the analysis. Take note, this is product profitability analysis. So ang sagot dito, 120 divided by 6. Okay, may sumagot ng tama kanina, no? The answer is 20,000 units. That's correct. Okay, 20,000. Next, continuation of problem 1. Guys, tandaan nyo lang ha, basta 6 pesos yung contribution margin natin. How many surge protectors must do electronics sell at the selling price of 14 to gain 30,000 additional income before tax? Ano tinatanong dito? Sales units naman ngayon. Okay, sales units. O sige nga, ano sagot? Ano sagot natin dito? Okay, ano sagot? Lagay nyo lang, if there's a desired profit of 30,000, pareho yung fixed cost niya at fixed cost is still the same at 120. Selling price is still 14. In other words, contribution margin per unit is still 6 pesos pa rin. Ilang units ang kailangan nating ibenta para ma-attain natin yung profit na 30,000. Okay? Sagot. Ayan. So I'm looking at your comments ha. Tinitingnan ko yung comments nyo. Ayan. So katabi ko yung isang minomonitor ko sa cellphone ko. So yes, okay, tama. Ang sagot nyo is, the correct answer is 25,000 units. Okay guys, be careful with the question because the question is in units. Kaya 25,000. Kung gusto mo i-convert into pesos, i-multiply mo lang ng selling price na 14. Pag pesos na yan, it becomes 350,000 pag in pesos. Okay? So I think marami nakuha na tamang sagot. Okay? So that's very good guys. Ibig sabihin nun, na-attain natin yung mga objectives natin. So objective number 1, assimilation. Objective number 2, application. Okay, next. Yan yung sagot, 25,000. Continuation of problem number 1. May tax effects na tayo ngayon. If there is a tax of 40% and there is an desired after-tax income of 36,000, how many units must it sell? Okay, o sige nga, tignan ko nga. Ano kaya yung effect nito? Ano kaya effect ng tax, ano? Sige guys, pabilisan to guys ha, pabilisan ko. Ilang units kaya yung ating ang required para ma-generate natin after-tax income of 36,000. Okay, ilan? Ayan, sige, we will wait, we will wait. Yon, okay. So, pabilisan, no? Okay. Parang this is, ano na to? Yung sa, pagdating sa quiz B ng JP, di ba meron tayo nun? Ayan, yung quick round, ano? So, the answer is, tamang sagot. Yon. So, guys, be careful. Pag ang question is after tax, decide profit after tax, gross up muna natin to. Gross up natin yung 36,000. If the tax rate, yun na yung sagot, sabi lumabas yung sagot, okay? If the tax rate is 40%, the after tax rate is 60%. Kaya 36,000 divided by 60% should give us profit before tax of 60,000. Yun ang kailangan nating i-substitute. Okay? So 60,000 profit before tax plus 120,000. 120,000 fixed cost will give us what? Oh, tama. The answer is 30,000 units. So answer, 30,000 units. Ayun. So tignan mo yung mga sagot nyo. Okay? Correct. Gross up, di ba? Kailangan natin i-gross up yung desired profit after tax. So guys, so yung kakalimutan yun ha, dapat na gross up siya. So the answer, 30,000 units. Pag tinanong tayo, in pesos, 30,000, i-multiply mo lang ng selling price na 14. Pag in pesos na yan, that is already 420,000 in pesos. Okay, so yun, ganun siya. Okay, tayo sa mas challenging. Ito. Guys, Mother's Company reported the following for the year just ended. So meron tayong budget sales, break-even sales, budget contribution margin, and the cash flow break-even. So guys, paki-take note nyo yung given ha. Sulat nyo lang guys, sulat nyo lang. So meron tayong budget sales na 3 million, break-even sales of 2.1, contribution margin of 1.8, and cash flow break-even. May bagong terminology na nakita nyo, no? Cash flow break-even. Explain ko yan mamaya, may concept yan mamaya. Ito yung questions niya. Okay, questions niya. Margin of safety, sabi niya. Okay, margin of safety. Compute for margin of safety ratio, contribution margin ratio, variable cost ratio, fixed cost net profit ratio, and profit. O, tindi, ano, ang dami. Okay? Kukunti lang yung binigay. Okay, ilang items lang yan. 4 na items. Pero ilan yung kanyang question. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7 questions for that problem. So, ito lang yun. First and foremost, first question, margin of safety. How much is the margin of safety? Okay guys, comment box ulit, comment box. Correct, the margin of safety is 900,000. Ang bilis, no? Ang bilis ng ating audience. That's very good, guys. Letter B, how about margin of safety ratio? Ilan kaya si margin of safety ratio? Correct, okay? The margin of safety ratio is 30%. Paano pala yun? Okay? The margin of safety is the exit sales beyond break-even point. 2.13 million versus 2.1900 is the margin of safety. How about the margin of safety ratio? Correct, 30%. 900 divided by 3 million is 30%. How about CMR? Guys, CMR. Ilan ang contribution margin ratio natin? Yun, okay. So may nakuha na ng tamang sagot. Okay. Next time, ipatali ko to. Dapat may cash prize to. No? Okay. Kung sino nakarami. So 1.8 million is the contribution margin. Divided by the budget sales of 3 million is 60%. Okay. The contribution margin ratio is 60%. If contribution margin ratio is 60%, automatic. What is variable cost ratio? Correct. Okay, bilis ng mga participants natin. So the variable cost ratio should be 40%. Okay, si Venice, ano? Ayan, bilis ni Venice. Ayan, so meron siyang, so automatic, that's already 40%. Ayan. Question, how much should be the fixed cost? O, sige nga. Kano kaya fixed cost? Unang sasagot ng tama, isa-shout out natin. Ayan. So magkano yung ating fixed cost? How much is our fixed cost? Okay, so I'm still waiting for the correct answer na mag-appear. Ayan, okay. Kano kaya fixed cost natin? Guys, okay. Biglang bumagal na. Anong fixed cost ang tanong? Ayan, correct. Okay. Again, Venice got the correct answer. Okay, of 1,260,000. Okay, so bakit? Paano? Di ba may contribution margin ratio tayo? 1.8 divided by 3 million was 60%. 60% of break-even point times 2,100,000 will give us 1,260,000 is the fixed cost. Okay? Guys, tandaan nyo yun. Break-even point multiply with CMR is equal to the fixed cost. Yun siya. So that's 1,260,000. Okay, next letter F, net profit ratio. Tingnan natin. Net profit ratio. Ayan. So, una ulit na kuha ng tamang sagot ha. How about the net profit ratio? Net profit ratio. Bilis ng mga participants natin. Okay, very good guys. Very good. That's an excellent work. Ayan. How about the net profit ratio? Ito, labanan to ng, ano na to, labanan din to ng internet connection, ano. Ayan. Yes, okay, sino to? Si Curie May. Yes, Curie May. Marie got the correct answer. Siya una nag-post ng tamang sagot at 18%. That's correct. Okay, so sumunod ulit si Venice. Talaga mabilis si Venice. Okay, so that's 18%. That's correct. Ayan, so guys, we're getting the correct answers. Ang net profit ratio is simply computed as MSR times CMR. Ito lang, MSR natin kanina I think was 30%, CMR natin was 60%. Pag minultiply mo yan, lalabas na si net profit ratio of 18%. Ayun, tapos na ni Benice, nasagutan na niya ang letter G. Profit is 540,000, that's correct. Okay, which is actually the next question. Ayan, bilis niya, no? So that's correct. That is 540,000. That's the profit. Okay? So yun siya. Guys, ito yung mga sagot. So screenshot nyo lang. Okay, screenshot or kunin yung final answers. Practice lang guys. So lahat yun, na-apply natin yung mga formula na na-present sa inyo kanina. So yun siya. Okay? So, ayan. So I hope you got the correct answers. Next, ito. Constructive tayo. Co-constructive tayo. Multiple company sells 50,000 units of top-of-the-line garden sprinkle. These were taken from the company's records. AR, day sales outstanding, contribution margin ratio, profit for the period was 490,000. The ending receivables balance is the average balance during the year. As from 360 the year, all sales are on credit. Determine the company's break-even revenue. O, sige nga guys. Guys, ang problem number 3 natin is a combination of ratio analysis and break-even point. Okay, so ratio at saka break-even point yan. So, apply mo yung skills mo ng ratio at saka BEP. Okay, guys, lagay nyo sa FB Live natin yung sagot niya, lagay nyo doon. What is the answer? Meron long cut, may shortcut. Meron yan. Tuturo ko sa inyo, papakita ko sa inyo mamaya anong long cut niya, anong shortcut niya using calculator computations lang. Pero ang starting point nito is, ang starting point nito, dapat marunong kang kumuha ng total sales. And there are different ways of getting total sales. May shortcut ulit yan, may long cut na naman. O sige, sige, I'll give you siguro a few seconds or 1 minute, ganun lang. To present the answer, yung kahit sagot lang, final answer problem number 3. Ayan guys, pabilisan to. Okay, pabilisan. Calculators. Okay. So meron ng may sumagot na isa. We wait for the others. So hintayin natin iba ha. Sumagot na si Bonifacio. Hintayin natin yung iba. Kaya sagot dito. Answer. Guys, marami to. Mga 10 mahigit to yung mga questions natin. Tapos from there, mix naman tayo. Mix break-even. And then in-depth analysis na. Medyo yung level natin, lumalalim to ha. Lumalalim siya. Okay. So, ano pa? Okay, ano pa? Baka meron pa ibang sagot. Almost there. Almost. Almost. Okay, guys, this was given in the board exams before. This is an example of an actual CPA board exams. Ang ganda kaya ng problem 3. This is a constructive problem. Okay, let me give you the answer. Guys, ganito. First thing that you should do is, wala pa nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Okay, wala pa. Guys, given yung working days natin ha, given si 360, baka doon tayo nagkakatalo. Okay. In fact, may nakakuha ng total sales eh. Ang nakakuha ng total sales si Christopher. Ayan, nakuha niya yung total sales. Ang kulang lang doon is, dapat makompute natin yung break-even point. Okay? Guys, panoorin nyo to. Panoorin nyo to. Calculator. Zero yan, ano? First, you need to compute for your total sales. Accounts receivable is 129,000. Divided by 15 days. Yung 8,600 na yan, ang tawag natin dyan is average daily credit sales. To get your total sales, i-multiply mo ng 360. That should be our total sales. Okay? Memory plus. Guys, I'm teaching you speed and accuracy. How do you compute for break-even point? This is the fastest approach. Binigyan ka ng contribution margin, meron kang profit. If you divide profit divided by contribution margin ratio, will give you margin of safety. 490,000 on my calculator divided by 0.49. Memory minus. Bakit memory minus? Kasi kailangan natin ibawas yan. Total sales minus margin of safety sales, memory recall, is a break-even point of 2,096,000. That's the correct answer. Okay? 2,096,000. Yun ang pinakamabilis na approach para sa problem number 3. Hindi ako nagsulat. Ang ginamit ko ay calculator lang. Anong long cut nito? Ang long cut nito ganito. Get your total sales na naman. 129,000 divided by 15 days is 8,600 times 360. That is your total sales. Total sales times, multiply mo siya ng contribution margin ratio of 49% will give us your total contribution margin. Total contribution margin minus profit of 490,000 will give you my fixed cost. Yan yung aking fixed cost. Fixed cost divided by contribution margin ratio is my sales break-even point of 2,096,000. Okay? Answer 2,096,000. Those are different approaches. Ganyan sabi ko sa kanina. Mas maraming approach, mas mabilis ka. Okay? I presented to you the direct approach. I presented to you the long cut approach. It will give you the same answer. Yun ang reason kung bakit I had to introduce to you all the different approaches muna. Yan, answer 2,096,000. Yan, si Christopher. Tama? Yan, si Christopher. Next, guys, ito problem 4. Ang ganda ng problem 4. Another actual board na naman to. Shell Company sells resistors. The company breaks even at an annual sales volume of 75,000 units. Actual annual sales volume was 100,000 units and the company reported profit of 200,000. Annual fixed cost for Shell Company is how much? Okay, guys, this is a pure constructive problem. Dapat alam natin yung mga alternative methods natin para masagutan mo ang problem 4. Guys, problem 4 is an actual board exam question. O sige, lagay nyo ulit. I'll just wait for few minutes or few seconds. Lagay nyo na yung sagot nyo. It will also determine if natetest ko rin kung tama yung tayo nito na na-apply nyo yung tamang approach. No, sagot dito. Answer was sagot. Medyo may lag kasi sa akin, ano? Medyo may lag sa FB Live eh. Okay. Ayan. Basta unang sumagot ha. Unang sumagot sa FB Live ng tama. Ayan. Ganda, no? Ganda ng problem 4. Answer is sagot. Ano muna sagot? Guys, I'm teaching nyo na. Yun, yes. Okay. Si Tadeo, yan. That is my student in the undergrad. Okay. So, correct. Okay, correct si Thad. The answer is 600,000. Okay, so Las Elvira, no? So, tama. That's 600,000. Guys, this is constructive. Ang meron dito, based on the given information, meron tayong sales volume na 100 and break-even of 75,000. Ibig sabihin na ang margin of safety natin is 25,000. Binigyan ka ng profit na 200. 200,000 divided by 25,000. Ano tawag natin sa 8 pesos? Yung 8 pesos na yan is your contribution margin per unit. Once na-compute mo yung contribution margin per unit mo, to get fixed cost, multiply mo lang ng break-even point times 75,000. Give us how much? Answer, 600,000. Okay? Ganda, no? Ganda ng problem number 4. That's 600,000. Next. Okay, next. The following info relates to snowbird preparation. Guys, what is important is you must know the concept that we are applying. Okay, so yung concept and the approach. What is snowbird's margin of safety? O, sige nga. Practice ulit tayo. Para at least, ano, alam nyo guys, pag marami, habang nagko-compute kayo, pag marami tayong nako-compute na tama, yung confidence level natin tumataas. Lalo na pag yung level ng question na kino-compute mo is really challenging, tapos nakukuha mo yung tamang sagot, your confidence level is gradually increasing. Pero in case nagkakamali naman tayo, it's an awakening naman. Kailangan pa nating mag-aral sa area na yun para ma-minimize natin yung errors natin. Okay? So, eto. Sige nga, number 5, guys. Number 5. What is our margin of safety? Ano kaya margin of safety? Ganda ng yun. Okay. So, first and foremost, you need to get the contribution margin ratio. To get the contribution margin ratio, may fixed cost tayo na 250. Divide mo lang siya ng break-even point na 312,500. So, sino yung unang nakakuha ng tamang sagot? Wait, sorry. LV. Si LV. Okay, so LV got was the first to post the correct answer. Ayan. So guys, 250 divided by 312,500. That's already 80%. Memory plus mo lang yon. Tapos net income, 150,000 divided by memory recall is already what? 187,500. Marginal safety is compute. Dalawang constructive approach. First approach, contribution margin ratio is fixed cost over break-even point in pesos. Second constructive approach, net profit divided by contribution margin ratio is marginal safety pesos. Two constructive approaches. Yun, correct. 187,500. Problem 6. Dog at Hotdog Stand expects the following operating results for next year. You have sales, net operating income, contribution margin ratio. What is the break-even point next year in sales pesos? You can answer this in 5 seconds. Ano tamang sagot? Answer should be no kaya sagot dito. If you know your constructive approaches, 5 seconds lang katapat ng question na to. Problem 6. It's my water. Correct. Christopher got the correct answer. Okay, followed by Elvira. Ayan. Guys, 5 seconds. 21,000 divided by 70% CMR is what? That's 30,000 margin of safety pesos. Sales of 280 minus 30,000 is break-even point of 250. 5 seconds, 21 divided by 0.7. Okay, 30 to 80 minus 30 is 250. Okay, ganun lang kabilis yun. Okay, that's problem number 6. Next, yun na yung sagot. Guys, problem number 7 tayo. Rin to. 5-second question din to. Tice Company is a medium-sized manufacturer of lamps. During the year, a new line called Roline was made available to Tice customers. The given point for sales of Roline is 200,000 with contribution margin of 40%. Assume that the profit for the line during the year amounted to 100,000. How much is the total sales during the year? Ayun. Kana total sales? Kana total sales? Total sales? No. No. Be careful. Be careful. The question is total sales. Total sales. Yes, Bonifacio got the correct answer. Answer is 450,000. Yung sagot natin na 250, that is only the margin of safety pa lang yun. Okay, margin of safety pa lang. 100,000 divided by 40%, 250 is the margin of safety. Do not forget to add break-even sales to get total sales of 450,000. Yun, answer 450. Next, number 8. Sige, madali lang guys, napakadali nito ha. Napakadali nito ha, nasagot dito. Ayan, problem 8. Answer, problem 8. Napakadali nito. Stress, magala stress. Okay? So, okay lang yan. Okay, yes. The correct answer is 250,000. Nauna si Venice, sumunod si Bonifacio. Okay, then Elvin na. Okay? Correct. The answer is 250. Guys, madali lang yan. If variable cost ratio is 40%, automatic CMR is 60%. 150 over 60% is equal to 250,000. Okay, so guys, notice yung mga illustrations natin, yung approach na ginagamit natin, no, na i-apply natin iba-ibang constructive approaches. So, ang tamang sagot doon, 250, that's correct. 9. O guys, malapit na matapos sa mga short problems na to. Susunod na natin si Mix. Minis company sold single product selling price of 15 per unit. Last year company sales revenue was 225 and its net income was 18. Fixed expense total 700 for the year. Break-even point in unit sales was how much? This is a little bit challenging. Sige nga, tingnan natin. Break-even point in units was how much? Another constructive. Apply natin yung skills. Yung mga tinanong ko sa inyo kanina. Yan. Problem 9. Halo-halong constructive methods to, ha? Okay. You're in the right track. Okay, pero the question is break-even point in units. Okay, units. Unit sales. Sige, tingnan natin. Correct. Okay. Trixie May got the correct answer of 12,000. Okay. Paano nakuha yung 12,000? Ayan, sumunod na. Sila Liza and Bonifacio Christopher. Ayan, ang dami na. Okay. So, paano na-compute yung 12,000? First, guys, you need to get your contribution margin ratio. The net income is 18. The fixed cost is 72. That's total contribution margin. So, 18 plus 72, total contribution margin is 90. Based on total sales of 225. So 90 divided by 225, contribution margin ratio is 40%. Automatic, 60% ang dahil ito, ay 60%, 40% ang contribution margin ratio. So 40% times 15, contribution margin per unit should be 6 pesos. 72 divided by 6 will give us how much? 12,000. O, di ba? Tama, you got the correct answer. Ayun, so we have a very good set of audience today. Okay? Next, let's continue. Ayan. Pag tinanong tayo, in pesos, i-multiply mo lang guys ha. Multiply mo lang. So it's either 12,000 units, multiply with the selling price to get 180. So, pwedeng in pesos, pwedeng in units. Ayan. Pero yung question in units ha. Okay, problem 10 tayo. Your corporation sells a product for 5 pesos per unit. Fixed expense are 210 and the unit variable expense are 60% of the selling price. What sales pesos would be necessary in order for Winger Corporation to realize a profit of 10% of sales? Guys, ang question dito is, what should be the, what are the sales pesos? That's the first question. The second question is, how much is your sales units? So, dalawa yung question. Okay, sige. So, tignan natin. We wait for your answers. Sige. Do your computations. Guys, ito tinatawag ng algebra. It's either you use algebraic approach or you use algebraic approach. Okay? Ito yun eh. Ito yung problem na ginagamitan ng algebra. Ito yun. Pero yung concept mo, basic concept pa rin yan. Sales is equal to variable cost plus fixed cost plus profit. Yun pa rin ang pinaka-concept mo. pero algebra yung approach mo dito. I think we are almost done with the... Guys, nasa single product pa lang itong dinidiscuss ko sa inyo ha. Single product companies pa lang to. Yun, okay? So, correct. Ni Mary Ann. Si Mary Ann got 140,000 units. That's correct. Correct. Venice got the both answers correct. 700 at saka 140,000. Yes, that's the equation. Si Fredina presented as the correct equation. So S is equal to 210,000 plus 0.6S plus 0.1S. Pag sinimplify mo yan, 210,000 divided by 0.3 para makompute natin si 700,000. After getting 700,000, i-divide mo na siya ng 5 pesos para makompute natin yung 140,000 units. Okay, guys, that's the correct answer. Gagaling nyo, okay? Galing nyo. That's very good. No? That's very good. That's excellent job, guys. 11. Okay, 11. Hindi incorporated sa product for 10 per unit. The variable expense are 6 per unit. And the fixed expense total 35,000 per period. By how much will net operating income change if sales are expected to increase by 40,000? Guys, ito tinatawag natin na change in profit factors. This is an advanced question kasi didiscuss ko pa lang yung theoretical backgrounds nito. Sales of product for 10 per unit, variable expense are 6 per unit, fixed expense total 35 per period. By how much will net income change if sales are expected to increase by 40,000? O, sige. Constructive to. Constructive yung approach mo, tapos principle yung gagamitin mo, concept yung gagamitin natin para makuha natin yung tamang sagot. So, again, those are critical thinking yung mga yan ha. Constructive approach to get the needed info, and then concept, application of the concept to get the correct answer. Oh yes, Bonifacio got the correct answer. Answer is 16,000 increase, followed by Elvira and Trixie May. Okay? So, tama yung sagot na yun. Ang first na kailangan natin makuha dito is yung, ano na kailangan natin makuha? It is the, ano ba, given? Fixed expense total 35,000. Tapos, eto yun guys, kailan mo makuha yung contribution margin ratio. If the variable cost is 6 per unit and the selling price is 10, variable cost is 60%, automatic CMR is 40%. Okay? In other words, the increase in sales of 40,000 times 40%, okay, will give us increase in contribution margin of 16,000. Ang concept nito is any peso increase in contribution margin will have the same effect on net income. If my contribution margin will increase by 16,000, my net income will also increase by 16,000. The same concept will be applied in relevant costing. Pag nag-relevant costing tayo, di ba kadalasan itatanong sa inyo is, what is the effect on net income? Unang tinitignan natin doon is yung effect on contribution margin. Same effect yun sa net income. Okay, so guys, that's correct. Answer is 16,000 increase. Number 12. This is again change in profit factors. Bernie Company has prepared the following budget data. Sales, selling price, variable expense, fixed manufacturing, fixed selling and admin. An advertising agency claims aggressive advertising campaign would enable the company to increase its unit sales by 20%. What is the maximum amount the company can pay for advertising and obtain a net income of 200,000? Guys, number 12 is an example of incremental approach and incremental analysis. Dapat alam natin ang behaviors ng contribution margin. Ang concept nito, habang yung nagko-compute kayo, ang contribution margin per unit is constant per unit. But contribution margin in total increases with the number of units sold. Okay? Tumataas yan with the number of units sold. How much is the correct answer? Yes, Elvira got the correct answer. Okay? It is 100,000. How did we get 100,000? Okay? Guys, ang given dito is magkakaroon tayo ng 20% increase in sales units. 120,000 times 20%, there is a 30,000 increase in sales units. 30,000 increase. The selling price is 25. The variable cost is 15. CMU is 10 pesos. 10 pesos times 30,000 is 300,000. Increase in contribution margin minus the cost of, minus desired increase in income of 200,000. Net income, excess contribution margin that we can spend for advertising is 100,000. Answer, 100,000. Okay, that's problem number 12. Okay, guys, tapos natin yung single product companies. Okay, single product pa lang yun. Na tayo sa mixed break-even. Ang mixed break-even is for companies that sell multiple products. Medyo irarantro ko na to ha. Irarantro ko na lang to. Ayan, mabilis na to. Ang multiple product companies or mixed break-even is more procedural approaches lang to with some cautions. Kailangan natin, meron tayong ina-analyze. Although procedural siya, meron tayong ina-analyze na persons. Multi-frame company has the following revenue and cost budgets for two products it sells. Example, again, this is lifted from CMA ulit to. Meron tayong plastic and glass frames, selling price and the cost components. Meron tayong variable cost and fixed components. Okay, net income and the budget sales. Guys, ang una nating tinitignan dito kadalasan, basta mix break even is this one. It is yung sales. Because this will be the basis of your mix structure. Ingat tayo. Is it budget sales units or budget sales pesos? Significant kasi yung effect nun. Okay, significant ang effect nun. Whether it is based on sales units or sales pesos. Guys, eto yon. The budgeted unit sales equal the current unit demand. The total fixed overhead for the year is budgeted at 975. Assume the company plans to maintain the same proportional mix. In numerical calculations, multiply amounts to the nearest centavo and unit. How much is the total number of units multi-firm needs to produce and sell to break even? Okay, so guys, ang approach lang nito is this is procedural in nature. So nandito na yung solution. First, you need to get the contribution margin per unit. So usual, walang bago doon. At the selling price minus variable cost. For plastic, that should be 10 minus 5 is 5. For glass, that is 15 minus 8 should be 7. Kaya naging 5 at saka 7. Tapos yung mix question. Saan nanggaling to mix na 25 saka 75? Dito. Guys, I advise you to use percentage. Mas madali kasi pag naka-percentage. 100 saka 300 in total is 400. Converted into percentage, that's 25% and 75% respectively. Will give us, eto na, pag minultiply mo siya, will give us the weighted contribution margin per unit of the individual products. Tapos ito total natin to. Pag tinotal mo yan is the weighted average unit contribution margin. Tapos i-compute na natin sa break-even point. So usual na to guys. So nadagdagan lang ng isang step by getting the mix muna. Ito lang naman yung nadagdag na step eh. Ito lang. Pagdating doon, madali na lang. Back to basic na yan. Break-even point is now 975 divided by 650 is equal to 150,000 units. Ang question lang doon is, ano yung breakdown ng 150 units? Okay, madali lang yan. Yung 150 na to, i-multiply mo lang ng mix structure niya. Multiply mo lang. Which is this one. So 150,000 times 25% is 37,500. 150,000 times 75% is 112,500. If you want to get the in pesos, anong gagawin natin? Multiply mo lang ng selling price. Ang selling price ng plastic is 10, ang glass naman is 15. So to compute for break-even point in pesos, anong gagawin mo? Multiply mo lang. So 37.5 times 10 is 375. 112.5 times 15 will give us 1,687,500. So pag tinotal natin, ito yung tamang sagot, 2,062,500. Okay, so guys, breakdown ha. Dapat marunong tayo mag-compute in total as well as breakdown. That is the first solution. Ang ginamit natin sa solution na to is the mix stated in percentage. Kaya automatic ano na-compute natin? Break-even point in units agad-agad. Okay? Pag percentage ang ginamit natin. What if ang ginamit natin is ratio? Guys, ito naman pag ratio. Okay, mixed ratio dapat to guys. Sorry, that should be ratio ha. Ratio. 1:3. So 5 times 1 is 5. 7 times 3 is 21. So pag tinotal mo ulit yun, 26 ang total niyan. Ito tinatawag natin na composite approach. The composite break-even point is equal to what? 975 divided by 26 will give us 37,500. This is not yet the answer. Guys, hindi pa yan yung sagot. Ang break-even point in units mo, pag tinotal mo itong dalawan to, is equal to 4. Ang break-even point in units mo is pag minultiply natin, 37,500 times 4 will give us 150. Okay? The answer is 150. Diba ito yun? 150. 150. Okay? Tapos pag binigyan mo, 4 times 1 is 37,500. 4 times 3 is 112,500. Pag ang ginamit mo ay yung kanyang ratio. Kaya kung minsan, I prefer to use yung naka-percentage na lang. Mas mabilis siya kaysa sa ratio. Okay? Yun. Next, what if there's a desired profit of 195? How much is the desired sales in units and in pesos? Similar to what we have been doing sa single product companies. Fixed cost plus profit lang yun. Divided by the weighted average contribution margin per unit. Ito na yun, sagot. So the fixed cost plus desired profit divided by 650. Okay, lakihan natin para kitang-kita na siya ng divide. Will give us 180,000. That's the desired sales units. To compute for the breakdown, similar to what we did earlier, 180 times 25%. For plastic is 45. For glass naman times 75%. Para makuha mo yung sales pesos niya, multiply mo ng 400 ng 10 pesos. Para makuha natin si 450. Tapos para makompute natin yung in pesos ni glass, multiply mo ng 15 pesos naman. 2,025,000 na siya. So pag tinotal mo, that is the total in pesos, this is the total in units. Okay? So pag meron siyang desired profit, back to basic ka na naman. Ayun guys, yung binigay ko na mixed ratio dito, it's mixed ratio in units. Okay guys, wag niyong kakalimutan yan ha. That is mixed ratio of the unit sales. Because, okay, mamaya meron tayo. Ito pang practice nyo to. Practice mo na. Okay, para sigurado lang na nasundan yung process. Sunrhyme Company manufactures and sells two types of beach towels, standard and deluxe. Sunrhyme expects the following operating results next year for each type of towel. So with the standard as well as the deluxe, we have the sales and the variable expense. Sunrhyme expects total of 57,600 fixed expenses next year. What is Sunrhyme's break-even point next year in sales pesos? O sige nga guys, practice please. Practicing nyo to. There is something new with illustration number 2. So, I'll teach you how, ano yung gagawin mo. Una is, kunin mo yung contribution margin ratio of the individual products. Kunin mo CMR ni standard, CMR ni deluxe. Para meron kang CMR of the specific products. Now, ang next na concern mo dito is, nawawala yung mix percentage. Saan natin kukunin yung mix percentage? Guys, idaan mo dito. Kunin mix percentage based on the total sales. Meron ka ng mix percentage for standard and deluxe. Meron ka na ring variable cost ratio, or in other words, meron ka ring contribution margin ratio of the individual products. Compute mo na yung weighted average contribution margin ratio. You can now compute for break-even point. Okay? Sige, problem 2 please. Practice nyo. Gawin yung sinabi ko approach for this problem ha. Iba yung approach na ginamit natin sa problem 1 kasi iba yung even. Iba approach na gagamitin natin sa illustration number 2 kasi iba rin ang given. Yun ang lagi nating tinitignan pag nagsosolve tayo. May mga subtle changes sa mga problems natin. Okay, o sige, practice please. Okay, ayun. So may sagot na si Venice. The answer is 240,000. Okay? So, paano natin na-compute si 240,000? That's correct, Venice. Okay? So guys, ganito lang yon. First, we need to get the contribution margin ratio. If the variable cost 360 divided by 450, okay, will give us 80%. Automatic contribution margin ratio is standard as 20%. Sa deluxe naman, 20, that's 40. Automatic CMR is 60%. Ito na yun, 20 at saka 60. Yung mix natin, okay, saan natin kukunin yung mix? Nandito guys, ang total nito is 500. Over 50, over 500 is 90%. Automatic deluxe should be 10%. Pag minultiply na natin to, multiply mo yan para ma-compute natin sa weighted of 18% and 6% respectively. Kaya our total, para ma-compute natin weighted average contribution margin of 24%. Pag nakuha na natin yon, back to basic na. So yun lang yung added na procedure niya. Guys, procedural to ha, procedural. This is the break-even point in pesos. 57,600 over 24% will give us 240,000. Okay, so 240. Next, ito. Ren's company produces 3 products with the selling prices and variable cost presented below. Guys, tignan nyo to ha. Okay, ganyan lang siya kasimple. Meron siyang selling price, meron siyang variable cost. Sales mix in pesos are 50, 20, and 30% respectively. Annual fixed cost is budgeted at 700,000. Okay guys, kunin yung given data ha. So again, sales price, 10, 8, and 16. Variable cost, 6, 5, at saka 12. The sales mix, given na 50%, 20%, 30% respectively. Annual fixed cost is budgeted at 700,000. Okay? Compute for break-even point in pesos and in units. Okay, akala ko nakahiwalay yung sagot eh. Sorry guys ha. Okay. Guys, be careful sa problem number 3 natin, illustration na to. This is no longer similar with problem number 1 because ang illustration 3, the sales mix is in pesos. Ibang approach ang gagamitin natin. Iba yung dadaanin natin na procedure. First, you need to get the contribution margin ratios. How did we get 40, 37, 5, and 25? Similar. So that is 6 divided by, that is 4 pesos divided by 10 should give us what? That's 40%. 3 divided by 8 will give us 37.54. Why? And for Zay naman, that is 4 divided by 16 will give us 25%. Yun ang first na kailangan mong kunin, CMR individual products. Then multiply mo na siya ng mix percentage based on sa sales. Guys, sa sales ito, kaya 50%, 30, 20, and 30, given na yon. Multiply mo siya individually, and then get mo na yung total. Pag nakuha mo yung total, that's a weighted average contribution margin ratio of 35%. Then compute for break-even point in pesos. Ibang approach, no? Ibang-iba. Okay, guys, ganun ang gagawin nyo, ha? If the mix is based on break-even point in pesos, you need to get the break-even point in pesos muna. So that's fixed cost of 700 over 35% will give us 2 million. Okay, 2 million is a break-even point in units. Question is, ano yung breakdown nun? Eto yun guys. From the 2 million, multiply mo siya ng 50% para makuha mo yung 1 million. And then for Y naman, 20%, kaya 400, and 30% per se, that's for 600,000. Pag ang tinanong sa'yo is break-even point in units, i-divide mo siya ng selling price. Selling price of X, ilan na si X kanina? Ito, 10, 8, at saka 16. I-divide mo siya. Divided by 10, divided by 8, divided by 16. Ibang approach yun. If the mix is based on sales pesos. Kaya pag nagsosolve kayo nito, you must identify ano yung binigay sa akin. Is it mix in units or mix in pesos? Pag mix in units, pwede yung first approach natin kanina. Pag mix in pesos, gamitin mo yung approach natin sa illustrative problem number 3. Okay? What if there is a desired sales profits of illustration 3? Usual approach na naman. If the desired profit is 210, compute for the sales units of product Z. Ano mangyayari dito? Back to basic. Fixed cost of 700 plus 210 divided by 35%. Okay, will give us sales of 2.6 million. Product Z is 30%. So 2.6 million times 30% is 780,000. Divided by the selling price of 16 pesos, Zain sales units should be what? 48,750 units. Okay? Yun ang tamang approach niya. Okay, so that is what? Okay, we are done with the change in, with the mixed break-even. Okay, next. Change in profit factors, madali na lang to. Medyo nasa analytical side tayo. So change in profit factors, if all of this will change, automatic, ang pag-compute kasi ng profit is separate sales minus variable cost is equal to CM minus fixed cost is equal to net income. Anything that will change in the given factors will definitely affect profit. Ang preparation ng change in profit factors na to is intended for flexible budget analysis. It is intended for, alam niyo yung revenue variances? Yun. So pag nagkaroon ng change in selling price, automatic profit is affected. Variable cost will affect contribution margin, tama? Selling price and variable cost will affect contribution margin. Contribution margin will generate profits, automatic affected na siya. Volume. Contribution margin per unit multiplied with sales units is total contribution margin affected ng profit. Profit is computed as contribution margin minus fixed cost. So affected ulit si net income natin. What is sales mix? Combination of products. Combination of products will affect the net income, will affect the contribution margin. Once gumala ang contribution margin, affected ulit si profit natin. As well as change in total cost structure. What is change in total cost structure? From variable cost to fixed cost or vice versa. Meron tayong situation mamaya. Okay, meron itatanong sa inyo mamaya. Next, factors affecting break-even point. Okay? May simple question lang ako sa inyo dito. Of number 1 to number 6. Sa number 1 to number 6, each of number 1 to number 6 will affect break-even point. Will not affect break-even point, sorry. From number 1 to number 6, which of the following will not affect break-even point? Ano sagot natin doon? Sige, hintayin ko saglit, hintayin ko yung sagot niyo. Of number 1 to number 6, which of the following will not affect break-even point? A change in what? Change in? Yes. Joey got the correct answer. Change in volume or number of units will not affect the break-even point. All others, changes in selling price, variable fixed sales mix, change in total cost structure, lahat yun will affect break-even point except volume or number of units. Okay, galing talaga ng audience natin today. Okay, so except volume except volume. Sales mix will affect the composite contribution margin. Yun na in-analyze natin sa revenue variances affected sa break-even point. Okay? Cost structure, malalaman nyo mamaya. Okay, malalaman nyo mamaya. Mas mataas ang fixed cost, mas mataas ang required break-even point. Lower ang fixed cost, mas mababa ang required break-even point. Answer is number 3. Okay? Ito question. Will changes in tax rates affect break-even point? Yes or no? Will changes in tax rates affect break-even point? O parang kay Sir Rex to, di ba? O Sir Rex is master in taxation. Will changes in tax rates affect break-even point? Yes or no? Sige, tayo natin. Correct. Okay, so Ray got the correct answer. Changes in tax rates will not affect break-even point. Alam niyo kung bakit? Because wala namang income subject to tax at break-even point. So it will not affect the break-even point. Okay, ang sagot doon, no. Ayan. Pero may question ulit ako. Will changes in tax rates affect earnings after tax? Yes or no? Obvious yun, guys. Obvious yun. Will changes in tax rates affect earnings after tax? Yes or no? Ayan yung ano na to, mga changes natin ngayon. Will changes in tax rates affects earnings after tax? Yes or no? Obviously, the answer is yes. Tama? Yun, sigurado na yan. So, yun ang mga effects ng tax rate. Pero tandaan yung kanina, any change in tax rate will not affect the break-even point. Okay, yan siya. Next, okay guys, ito. Maganda to. Okay, maganda to. This is in-depth analysis. Lapit na oras natin. If selling price per unit and variable cost will increase by the same amount, what will happen to? Sige, tingnan nga natin. Okay? Guys, mabilisan na to ha. Lagay nyo yung sagot nyo. If the selling price per unit and variable cost per unit increase by the same amount, what will happen to? Gagawin nyo dito. Doon sa comment box natin. Letter A, yung sagot mo. Letter A, increase, decrease, or no effect lang. Letter B, okay. Letter A, increase, decrease, no effect. Ganun lang yung sagot nyo. Okay? Sige, tingnan natin to. Ayan. If the selling price per unit and variable cost will increase by the same amount, what will happen to CMU? Correct. Okay, Christopher got the correct answer. Contribution margin per unit will remain the same. Okay, letter A will remain the same or no effect. How about letter B? Ano kaya mangyari sa CMR natin? The CMR will, okay, what will happen to CMR? Letter B, contribution margin ratio will, be careful, Okay? Increase by the same amount, sabi niya. Contribution margin ratio will okay, ayan, will decrease. Will decrease. How about letter C? Ano kayo mangyari sa break-even point natin? Ayun, so wait, let me check, see more. Ayan, so no effect, increase, no effect. Increase. Ayan. So guys, tignan natin yung sagot ha. Tignan natin yung sagot. This is the correct answer. Ayan. Kung may nakuha ba ng tamang sagot? Your contribution margin per unit is no effect. Kasi nag-offset lang yon. The contribution margin ratio, however, will decrease. Okay, magde-decrease siya. If the contribution margin ratio will decrease, if no effect sa contribution margin per unit natin, the break-even point will be no effect then. Pero since there's a decrease in contribution margin ratio, the break-even point will now increase. Okay? So tingnan ko kung may nakakuha. No effect. Okay, I think no effect. Ayan. So anyway, so yun yung mga tama. And guys, that is how we do in-depth analysis. Tinitignan mo yung effect niya ng isang change in factor as well as the others. Next. Okay guys, kanina amount yan. Ang question ngayon is percentage. If selling price per unit and variable cost may increase by the same percentage, what will happen to CMU, CMR, BEP units, and break-even point in pesos? So we're almost done. Overtime na tayo, no? Ayan. Importante matuto kayo. Okay, importante. Madagdagan yung kaalaman nyo. Walang problema doon. Sige, tignan natin. Guys, halos lahat na cover natin to ha. Ang hindi ko lang naisama dito is only the, ano na to? Operating leverage lang. Hindi ko naisama sa discussion na to. So what will happen to CMU? Challenging, no? Ayan, contribution margin per unit. Answer, no effect. It will remain the same. Okay, sorry. Contribution margin per unit will, CMU will, what happens? Okay, it will increase. CMR will remain the same. Yun. Okay? So guys, contribution margin per unit will increase. Contribution margin per unit, no effect. That's correct. Okay? So meron. May nakuha ng tamang sagot. I think Christopher. Okay? I think Christopher got the correct answer. Ayan. O baliktad. Okay, baliktad pa lang. Okay, guys, baliktad. So contribution margin per unit will, baliktad yung sagot ni Christopher. Anyway, ayan. Ito. Ayan. So see, I think it's ready na yata. Ayan. So anyway, and this is the correct answer. Contribution margin per unit will increase because the increase in selling price is greater than the increase in the variable cost. But in terms of percentage, the contribution margin ratio will remain the same. If your contribution margin per unit will increase, the break-even point in units will decrease. And if your contribution margin ratio is the same, break-even point in pesos is also the same. Guys, paano masagutan natin mga problems na ganito, gumamit tayo ng assume figures. Mag-assume figures lang tayo. Okay? Yan siya. Next. This is a CMA part 2 question. Compare the break-even point of labor-intensive industry against a capital-intensive industry. Labor-intensive is more of variable cost. Capital-intensive is more of fixed cost kasi puro machines ang gamit niya. Mas mataas ang fixed cost ng capital-intensive, mas mataas ang required break-even point. Ang labor-intensive is more of labor, is more of variable cost. Mas mababa ang fixed cost niya. Since mas mababa ang fixed cost niya, mas mababa ang required na break-even point niya. If the question is on break-even point. But if the question is, compare the target sales of labor-intensive industry against capital-intensive industry, assuming they want to generate the same profit with only the cost structure being different. Okay? They want to have the same net income. Yung isa relies more on variable cost, yung isa relies more on fixed cost. but they want to have the same net income. What is the desired sales? Guys, ang sagot doon pareho lang. The sales will be the same if they want to have the same net income. Regardless of whether it's capital intensive or labor intensive, the required sales will be the same. Okay, importante yun. That's a very important concept. Pagdating sa capital structures. Or sorry, pagdating sa cost structures. Okay? We are done, ano? We are done. Tama-tama. So, recap. So, recap is, tingnan natin. So, let's go over our objectives as presented earlier. Were we able to assimilate the extraction of equations? Naintindihan pa natin? At kaya ba natin explain sa future? Kaya ba natin, as students, you guys, kaya na ba natin explain kung saan nanggaling yung mga formula na yon? Marunong na ba tayo mag-extract ng mga equations na i-present ko sa inyo kanina? Ayun, yun yung medyo mahaba sa discussion natin kanina, no? Na pinilisan ko sa inyo yung logic niya. Guys, ang gagamitin mo lang dyan, yung pinilisan ko sa inyo na breakdown ng sales lang. Visualize mo lang yung breakdown na yun. Second objective for this afternoon, apply the concepts and principles presented in the discussion. Guys, nagawa niyo yun. Congratulations, pat on your back. That's very good na indication na na-attain natin yung objective natin for this afternoon. Okay? So, revisiting the objectives. Okay, so parting thought. Guys, ang cost volume profit and break-even point is a combination of concepts, theories, and problem solving. Ang concept niya is you have to understand the concept by understanding the logic kung bakit ganun yung kinocompute mo. At yung problem solving niya is application of the formula. Bakit ganun yung formula? Saan nanggaling yung formula? Anong gusto kong mangyari? Intindihin mo yung mga yon. Do not, kaya nang sabi ko sa inyo sa introduction kanina, do not memorize the formula. You understand the logic behind the formula para pagdating na sa problem solving, it is now easier for you. Okay? So, pagdating na sa board exam and act at work, objective natin is you have to develop your accuracy. After accuracy, you develop your speed. After speed, you develop your endurance. Those 300, okay, na nandito ngayon, nanonood, okay, o 298 na lang, are those who were able to endure this afternoon's discussion. Guys, pagdating sa board exam, dapat meron kayong tatlong yon: speed, accuracy, and endurance. Na kahit pagod na pagod ka na, kaya mo pa rin mag-solve. Okay? Kayang-kaya mo pa rin. So para bang hindi ka nakapagod, that is endurance pagdating sa board exams. Okay? So yun siya. So anyway, guys, that is already this afternoon's discussion. Thank you again. I'm Radvik Estoca, your reviewer or your lecturer for this afternoon. Okay, thank you and good afternoon. So if there are questions, please feel free. Okay, ibigay nyo lang sa Federation yung mga questions nyo in case there are questions or clarifications na kailangan natin i-address. Okay, so guys, thank you for attending this afternoon's session. So isa lang hangarin ko para sa inyo, sana sana may natutunan kayo, sana meron akong naitulong sa inyo sa pag-aaral ninyo at saka sa pagiging CPA nyo in the future. Again, if you need my services in the future, feel free to ask me. Ayan. So again, thank you everybody for this afternoon's session.
Okay, so thank you very much po, Sir Rad. And that was an excellent discourse, di ba, Bea? And I hope it opened your insights into a broader perspective. Pero syempre, I know that you guys have questions, have queries to Sir Rad. But before we open our Q&A portion, let's have an icebreaker muna. And of course, this event will not be complete without an icebreaker. So to allow our minds to absorb our recent learnings, we need to have a break. Di ba, Bea?
Yes, ate. And this icebreaker may not be that related to what Sir's question and answer with, with a lot of solvings here. And despite that, I really like how Sir Rad made us answer a lot of questions. It made our minds it made our minds wonder and keep on working, and thank you for that, Sir Rad. But before that, while we are waiting for our technical committee, why not use this moment to encourage you guys to join the national mock board examination with the theme Haraya Manawari. malalim na pangarap para sa mga kwentong may layunin.
Yes, and it is an event that will help prepare BSAs for their actual CPA licensure examinations. Ikaw ba, Bea, ready ka na ba sa SIPALE? Sa anong tingin mo
Yes,
dyan?
to be honest, ate, just thinking about it makes me shake kasi it's very scary to even think about it. Pero like what Sir Rad said, the three main things that I should have, I think I have to practice it within me para when I get the board exam, I would be a little bit confident with faith.
Yes.
Pero we know that if we are ready or not by joining the NMBE, it is an event in which different aspirants from different regions are gathered to test their knowledge and skills in answering six SIPALE subjects, namely FAR, AFAR, Management Services, Auditing, Taxation, and RFDP.
And yes, that's right, Bea. That is why JPNs register now and join us in NMBE via Zoom conference and Canvas on May 29 to 30, 2021 and June 5, 2021.
Yes, just to inform you guys that registration is up until May 14, 2021 only. And for further ado and updates, follow and visit the NFJPIA page.
Ayan, so alam kong ready na rin ang ating JPNs, hindi lang sa computations, kundi para na rin sa ating icebreakers. So once again, ini-inform lang namin kayo na kailangan nyo magkaroon ng share badge para ma-accommodate ang answers nyo dito sa ating icebreaker. And the title of our icebreaker game is Who's the Player? So JPN, sino ba sa inyong mahilig maglaro? Ikaw ba, Bea? Player ka ba?
Player, I
Mahilig ka
am
bang
not.
maglaro dyan ng
Disclaimer lang
Philips?
ate, I am not a player with to a person, and at the same time, I am not good with games. Kahit mobile yan, that's one thing I can't do. Ikaw ba, ate?
Ano lang hanggang Jackstone lang tayo, Chinese garter, ganun. Pero sa tingin ko, ang game natin ngayon is more on characters sa mobile games, di ba? So ano bang mechanics ng game na to? So let's see. So the mechanics of this game. So this game will test the participants' knowledge on the games, heroes, agents, characters, and etc.
The host will flash random game characters on the screen, and the participants shall guess the name of the character being presented. For example, yes, ate, do you know who that is? Yes, ate, nakamute ka, ate.
So sorry. Okay, take two. So yan, ganyan lang kasimple JPNs ang gagawin nyo. So huhulaan nyo lang yung character na pixelated. And then of course, ayan, siya si Nana. So hindi ako medyo familiar sa kanya. Medyo huli-huli tayo sa mga mobile games. Okay. So of course, JPNs, wait for the go signal of the host and in the comment section before you type your answer via the FB Live comment section. And only answers given after the go signal and before the end signal will be considered.
The first person who can give the correct answer will be the winner.
Okay, and only those who have a sharer badge will have their answers catered.
Only one winner can win a specific item. You can only win one so that others are given a chance. Yes, many chances.
Yes, of course. So ayan, para malaman na natin kung sino ba ang mga players sa mga JPNs na nasa FB Live ngayon, why not simulan na natin? Okay, so mukhang ready na sila, partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you ready, JPNs? So let's have our first entry. Okay, so we have here Neon Green. So partner, kilala mo ba siya? Medyo
Yeah, medyo familiar
naaalinagan
siya,
ba?
partner.
Okay,
Yes, parang
so
related siya sa isang sikat na character din sa game.
okay, so sino ba to? Okay, so go. Para malaman na natin. Parang ano, boyfriend ba siya ni Billie Eilish? May pa-neon green. Okay, and time's up. And the answer is Okay.
Luigi from Mario Kart.
Okay. So tama yung sinabi mo, partner, na related siya sa isang famous din na character, mobile character. Okay, so
Yes.
let's have
Si
our
Super Mario.
second entry. Okay, so ano kaya to? Medyo hindi ako familiar dito.
Ako
Pero ang
din,
cute.
partner.
Cute nung medyo naaaninag ko yung flower sa ulo niya. Cute naman
Yes,
niya.
and the colors are brown, light brown, shade of brown lahat.
Yes, mukha siyang fox. Okay, so sino ba to? Go. Ayan. Medyo may nakikita rin akong specs. Naka-eyeglasses siya.
And the
Okay.
answer is
Diggy or Digi sa Mobile Legends. Ayan. Hindi pala siya fox. Para siyang owl.
oo, owl pala. With
Owl siya.
with
With-
kasama niya yung bahay-bahay niya, 'di ba? Yung owl na sa clock.
Yes. Okay. So next entry. Okay.
Ito medyo
So
easy yung pag-pixelate ng kanyang character.
kaya nga eh. Kitang-kita yung kanyang smile. So ganyan dapat yung smile niyo pag nag-photo op mamaya. Okay.
Yes.
So sino ba to? Let's go. Go JPNs. 6. Ayan. Kamukha niya si Sonic. Hindi ba siya si Sonic? Okay, time's up. And the answer is?
It's Willy or Crash Bandicoot. Did you all know that Crash Bandicoot, yung game, tapos yung Willy, yung old name niya, pero now is Crash Bandicoot.
Oh,
Yes.
siya pala yun. So may pa-trivia pa tayo dyan, partner. Okay, so thank you very much. And for our fourth entry, ayan.
Ito
So,
medyo
medyo-
familiar.
Ay, luging-lugi talaga ako, partner. Wala talaga akong alam sa mga ganito. But anyway, sino ba siya? So, go. Mukha siyang anime. Hindi ba siya anime? Mga ganyan ng pormahan ng mga anime, di ba? Okay, so time's up. And the answer is? Ayan. Paano ba siya i-pronounce? Sage or Sage from Valorant?
From Valorant,
Sage.
yes. Super
Okay.
sikat yung Valorant ngayon.
Next. Okay, so may nakikita ka bang nakakahula sa ating FB partner?
Yes, parang
Mukhang marami. Okay, so
marami tayong
talagang
players dito.
wag niyong palagpasin ang prices ng NF. Okay, so let's move on to our next entry. Ayan. So parang inaabot niya ako, charot. Okay, sino ba siya? Ang cute-cute naman.
Yes, ang cute-cute nga.
Si Little Red Riding Hood ba to? Na naka-mini skirt. Charot. Okay, so let's go. Ayoko na, partner. Dami na nating entry dyan. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so time's up. And the answer is?
Klee from Genshin Impact.
Ayan.
Anime to, partner.
Oh, anime pala siya. So, labasan din ng ating mga otaku. Okay, so
Parang
let's
Ruby yung mga sinagot ng ating JPians.
Okay. So, huwag kayong mag-alala dahil marami pa tayong entry. So, let's
Yes.
have our next entry. Ayan.
Wow,
Sino
parang
kaya
army.
Parang army, parang, ano ba siya, baseball player? Ba't ba yung nasa ano niya? Okay, so medyo, ayan, pixelated. So, para malaman natin, let's go. Sino ba siya? May bandana pa siya sa noo. And boots. 2, 1. Okay, time's up. And the answer is Amaru from Rainbow Six. Ano yan?
Sage ba yan?
Sage? Okay.
Yan, partner, kasi hindi natin alam yung mga game.
Basta ang mahalaga si Amaro siya. Ang Amaro lang
Yes.
naman yung aanahin dyan, partner. Okay, so let's have the next one. Okay, so sino to?
Parang
Pink.
anime.
Okay, parang anime. Parang, ayan, may horns siya eh. Parang may sungay-sungay. Okay, so let's have this one. Go. Four, three. Time's up. Okay.
Hayabusa.
Okay, so hindi pala siya horns mismo. Parang kasama siya sa helmet niya. Okay, Hayabusa from
Legends.
Mobile Legends. Okay, so meron pa ba tayo dyan, partner? So let's see kung meron pa tayo.
Nakasagot ng Hayabusa.
Okay, so let's have our 8th entry. Ayan. Redhead. Siguro si ano?
Parang anime.
Parang si ano siya, Hayley Williams ba to? Ng Paramore.
Yes, ng Paramore.
Ng Paramore. Okay, so let's have this one kung si Hayley nga ba. Okay, let's go. One. Okay, time's up. And the answer is?
Diluc.
Okay, so Diluc or
Diluc from
Diluc?
Genshin Impact.
Diluc. From Genshin Impact.
Yeah. Ganda ng damit niya.
Yeah, parang royal. Galing sa royal
Yeah,
fan.
parang royalty.
Napalaban. Okay, so for our 9th entry, ayan. Parang sa Tekken ba siya? Sa tingin mo?
Yeah.
Sa
Yes.
Tekken ba
Parang
siya? Or...
familiar.
Okay,
Parang ito lang yung game na nilalaro ko noon.
Okay, so maganda yung kanyang pants. Yan yung mga usong pants ngayon, mga square pants. Okay, so let's have this one.
Yeah.
Let's go. Two, one. Okay, time's up. And the answer is?
Jin Kazama from Tekken.
Tekken nga. Okay, so tama pala yung clue ko. Okay, so let's have the last one. So, last one na ba to, partner?
Yes,
meron pa
last
tayong
one na
isa?
partner.
Okay, so keyboard warriors.
Last
Okay.
chance.
Last chance.
Yes. Parang may cape siya, no? Or hoodie ba yung
Yes.
tawag?
Kapote na lang. Naka-ano siya?
With
Naka-PPE.
purple. Naka-PPE.
Okay, so let's have this one. Go. 7. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so partner, the answer is?
Omen from Valorant.
Ayan. So alam kong maraming nakasagot sa inyo, pero malalaman natin kung sino ba ang mga nanalo sa ating icebreaker.
Yes, kitang-kita naman talaga ang pagiging active and G na G ng mga participants natin sa FB Live.
Yes, of course. And as we can see, JPNs are indeed active and palaban in any aspect. Be it on ACADS, up to the simplest things in life. So kita mo naman kanina yung mga computation, sobrang palaban din sa pagsagot ng mga problems ni Sir Rad. And sino nga ba ang mananalo sa laro natin ngayon?
Kaya about that, JPNs, we will be announcing later the winners of our icebreaker. For the winners, you will be also receiving a private message from our working committees regarding the details in claiming your prizes.
Okay, so now let's move on to our question and answer portion. Okay, so kaya naman, let's open our floor for questions. I'm sure you have questions or clarifications regarding our topic, and now it is time to ask them. So our speaker, Sir Rad, is very much happy to answer them. So for our participants in the FB Live, you can now type your questions on the comment section.
Yes, so we are going to be waiting for your questions. So comment down on our FB Live.
Yes.
Yes, but before now let us begin reading the queries for our first
Okay.
question. And before that, may we call on Sir Rad?
Okay.
Ayun.
Yes, present
Okay.
Sir Rad.
Yeah, we're there. Wala, ba't tayo
Hello po
mag-start?
ulit, sir.
Yun.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. So the first
Okay.
question is, how can we use CPV analysis in profit planning?
Sa profit planning. In fact, yun ang pinaka-purpose ng cost volume profit analysis, which is intended to determine, number one is minimum sales units to generate yung, to determine the break-even point, because after determining break-even point, automatically start generating profits. So second is in terms of sensitivity analysis. So if there are changes in selling prices, variable cost, fixed cost. So pag nagbago yung mga yon, in fact yun ang ginagawa sa totoong buhay, no? So pinapalit-palitan yung mga input components to determine what is the effect on net income. And aside from that, tinitingnan din which of the variables will have the most significant effect on net income. So yun. Okay, so ang hindi ko lang diniscuss sa inyo is yung change in sales units, which is actually on the operating leverage. Yun lang. Yun ang binitin ko sa discussion natin. Anyway, sige. Ano pa?
Okay, so thank you po. So second question po, on what particular business situation are we supposed to use CVP analysis?
Anong situation? So in fact, maraming situations. Okay, so bottom line kasi is, ang isang company is intended to generate profits. So as long as it involves the decision will involve affecting the net income of the company, automatic CVP analysis ka agad, which is actually the sensitivity analysis part of cost volume profit. So practically, ang hindi lang natin magamitan ng cost volume profit is in the field of example sa financial management o sa Finman is already more of cash flow analysis kasi yun. So CVP is no longer much on the sa financial management. Pero pagdating sa all other areas, basta doing business, including the field of economics, gumagamit pa rin yan ng cost volume profit and break-even point. In fact, even the field of marketing. Okay, sa marketing, di ba, meron tayong yung target sales units, target selling prices. Automatic CVP ka agad yun, including saan pa ba? Production management. Sa production management is analysis of the variable cost components, production cost components, the variable cost and the fixed cost components, including the relevant cost needed to produce a product. So kasama rin lahat yun under production management. Human resource management is more labor-intensive companies. So andun pa rin si profitability analysis. Except lang talaga sa financial management because in Finman, it is more of the cash flow analysis, including financing cost lang. So dun lang talaga. Okay?
Yes, thank you po, sir. The third question is, for companies po na may unique products po sila na i-offer, for example po ay hindi madaling ma-measure or ma-count yung units or volume ng binenta nila. Ano po ang easiest or most efficient or effective way to perform CVP analysis po?
Mag-gun ka na lang. Instead of analyzing it using yung example is yung quantity, analyze mo na lang based on the peso approach ka na lang. So how much is your break-even point or your sales units at at sales pesos? Yan yung aking profit at this point. So example nun is yung service-oriented companies. Wala naman silang product, ano? So hindi mo alam kung ilan yung binenta nila, ano yung services na bigay nila, ilang oras. So most likely, ang basis na analysis mo will be already more on the total sales. Total sales analysis ka na lang. Hindi siya pwede sa per unit analysis. Ayun. In fact, ang mas mahirap na question doon is yung sa sales mix or sa break-even point ng let's say merchandising company. Pag merchandising ka, multiple products. Tapos grocery. ang daming product mix yun. Okay, it will really make it more challenging. Tapos, ang actual na talagang challenge sa totoong buhay is, how do you segregate variable cost and fixed cost? Yun ang talagang question. Okay? Paano mag-segregate ng variable cost and fixed cost? Kasi dito sa pag-theoretical, ang dali eh. Di ba given na? May variable cost ka na, may fixed cost ka na. Para sa totoong buhay, ano nga ang variable cost ko, ang fixed cost ko. So to determine. So it will always boil down to yung cost driver na gamit ng company. So meron kasi na tinatawag na rule of one of activity-based costing, activity-based management. So pag rule of one, everything is variable cost. Pero pag ginamit mo na ng traditional, ayun, pwede kang magkaroon ng variable, pwede kang magkaroon ng fixed cost components. So bottom line is, it depends on how top-level management will segregate its cost, including yung analysis ng cost elements nila. Ayun yan.
Okay, so thank you po. For the next question, how would conducting a CVP analysis help business to their decision making? What are the benefits and limitations of cost volume profit analysis? And why is it important po?
Okay, so tatlong question yan. So for the 3 questions, ano yung first question?
Okay, yung first question po, how would conducting a CVP analysis help business to their decision making?
Okay. So sa decision making kasi, we usually do a simulation analysis. So pag simulation analysis is, kaya nasabi ko sa kanina, pinapalitan ko lang yung example, change in selling price. You want to increase your sales. So natin increase yung ating sales, ano ma-increase natin doon? Are we going to increase our selling price? Pag nag-increase yung selling price mo, anong selling price na establish natin? Significant increase in selling price or minimal increase in selling price? Doon papasok na naman yung concepts ng price elasticity. Price elasticity of demand and price elasticity of supply. So pag significant increase in selling price mo pero elastic naman yung market mo, so eventually your total revenues will still decline pa rin. Ano? So pero pag yung market mo naman is inelastic naman, nagtaas ka ng selling price mo, so again, eventually hindi affected yung sales units mo, mag-increase pa rin yung total revenues mo. So ang benefit nun is you are looking at different, kino-consider mo iba-ibang scenarios. And it will also give a possible different effects din sa hindi lang sa net income na. Will not affect the operations of the company as a whole. And usually pag profitability analysis, ang tinitingnan lang natin doon is yung short run effects lang doon. So from the short run effect, ang next na mangyari doon is pag nag-change na profit factors mo, what is the long run effect na naman? So sa decision making, initially ang tinitignan lang natin is short run lang, which is the immediate effect on net income, which is the relevant range assumption. Para pagdating na sa long run, ano mangyayari sa customers ko, which becomes qualitative analysis. So laging nagko-combine ang quantity versus qualitative analysis na. So at the onset, nasa quantity ka lang. Pero pag nag-long run ka na, magko-qualitative analysis ka na rin. Ayan, that's for the first question. And second question niya.
Okay po. So last question po, why is it important?
Important for CVP analysis or sa
Apa.
decision making?
Okay po.
Important sa?
Meron po ditong follow-up question. What are the benefits and limitations of cost volume profit analysis and why is it important?
Benefits, no? So benefits mo na is, again, it will give you the best decision. It will help you identify the best decision that is possible in a given situation. So yun yung pinaka-benefit natin doon. It allows sensitivity analysis kasi. And limitations, I think I presented earlier the 5 limitations of CVP analysis. So yun na yung relevant range assumption, short run analysis lang siya. Tapos yung segregation of variable cost and fixed cost. Yung na-present ko kanina, balikan nyo na lang yung 5 limiting assumptions of cost volume profit and break-even point in the introduction part of our discussion this afternoon. Okay. Ano pa? Ano pa dito?
Kaya pa, sir.
Oh, sige lang, go.
Next question, sir. Do you have any tips to master CVP analysis?
Hindi lang CVP. Okay? In fact, sa accounting, ang approach lang dyan is you master the concept. Pag na-master mo na yung concept, meaning may karga ka na. Okay, may karga ka na. That's content, content. Mastering the content. You have to master the content. Ang, ano na to? Yung motivation. Motivation is only motivation. Ginanahan ka lang, di ba? Pero without content, wala. Talagang wala. Okay, so motivated ka lang pero walang laman. Ganun yun. So you have to master the content. And for you to master the content, Kaya nang ginamit ko sa inyo kanina sa presentation ko is, you have to understand bakit ganun yung concept. Bakit ganun yung concept behind that? What is the logic behind? Ayun. Parang yung kanina, no? Bakit ganun ang formula ng break-even point? Bakit fixed cost over CMU? Kasi ina-identify mo ilang contribution margin ang kailangan ko para ma-recover ko yung fixed cost ko para ma-attain ko yung break-even point. Ganon. Para example sa responsibility accounting naman, bakit controllable cost lang? Okay, bakit hindi kasama si allocated? Kasi ang concern natin doon is, kasi controllable cost is, objective natin sa responsibility accounting is, what is only controllable by the manager lang. And beyond his control na yung allocated cost. There is always a logic behind for each equation. Pati for every principle, there's always a logic behind. So hanapin mo yung logic niya. Pag nahanap mo na yung logic behind, naintindihan mo na yung concept, naintindihan mo rin yung logic kung bakit ganun yung concept, ang next is application. Okay? Apply mo na yung apply. Mag-apply ka na. Mag-solve ka na mag-solve. Without application, kasi by simple listening lang, wala. Bitin pa rin yun. Okay? It's different between listening and doing it on your own. So example, kunyari, so ano ba, when I prepared for the CMA exams, ang target ko doon is at least ilan doon? 100 questions kasi doon eh. 100 questions in 3 hours ang given doon. So when I was preparing for the CMA exams, my target was 100 questions in 1 hour with at least 95% accuracy. So ganun, natin ko ba yun? Of course, natin ko yun. I was even able to reach 100% accuracy, 100 questions in less than 1 hour. So talagang constant practice. Talagang pagtsatsagaan mo yan. Lahat sila nag-e-enjoy. Ikaw naghihirap ka, nagpa-practice. Pero kung lang yan, that's only for a short period of time na nag-sacrifice ka. Pero yung benefits mo naman, pang long term naman yung benefits nun. Okay? So sa dinami ng naturuan ko, ay hindi ko na mabilang kung ilang accountants na dumaan na naturuan ko. Okay? So ganun yun. So, yun. So yun ang pinaka-tip doon talaga. You need patience, a lot of patience with accounting. Ayan, para yung mga guys, di ba? Para mga guys, meron kang gustong ligawan, she is the one na talaga, di ba? O so pag she is the one na talaga, ano gagawin mo? Lahat na effort mo, ibigay mo na kasi buhay mo na yun eh, di ba? Ganun lang yun, guys. Okay? Ganun yun. So ganun for the ladies, di ba? Ganun for the ladies. Feeling mo sana, di pa hirapan mo kasi alam mo naman na sana yun, di ba? You exert all your efforts. If you want to attain something, you really have to exert all the efforts. Ganun lang yan. Okay. Ano pa? Next.
Okay, so ito po sir. Since pwede niyo po ba kaming bigyan ng mga tips, good strategy to make your learning last more, encouragement and motivational messages?
Okay. So for yung long lasting, yun ang challenge doon eh. In fact, yun ang challenge doon. Nakapag-aral ka ngayon, after few months nakalimutan mo. Yun talaga ang challenge doon. Ang sagot doon simple lang. Okay, simple. How do you know that you have mastery? Lagi kong sinasabi to. How do you know that you have mastery of the topic that was already presented to you? Okay, simple lang to guys. Parang lang yan. Parang ganito lang yan. Pag sinabi ko, natatandaan mo pa yung kwento ng Twilight. Okay, yung kwento ng, ano na to, basta sila Twilight. Okay, yung kwento na, yung mahabang 9 hours na yun. Okay, yung 3 hours saga na yun. So, at the back of your mind, pangalan pa lang ng sine, alam mo na. Alam mo na yung kwento, alam mo na yung details. That is accounting. Okay? Pag ang binigay sa'yo, assets. Assets lang. Okay? Binanggit sa'yo. Na-recall mo lahat from cash. From cash to, ano na to? Intangibles. Na-recall mo lahat na buong concept nun. That is mastery. And paano malalaman pag master mo na if you can teach it on your own? Alam niyo sikreto ng teachers niyo kung bakit sila gumagaling na mamaster nila? Kasi tinuturo nila, inuulit-ulit nilang tinuturo yan. Kaya usually what I tell to my students is, you try to lecture it to yourself muna. Turo mo sa sarili mo, kausap mo sarili mo. Para kang baliw, oo, pero namamaster mo yun eh. That's mastery. Kaya usually I encourage my students na lalo yung mga higher accounting, itutor nyo yung mga nasa lower accounting. Kasi in the process of teaching them, basta make sure na tama yung tinuturo niya. Ayan, in the process of teaching the lower students, accounting students, natututo kayo, namamaster mo. Ayun, yung namamaster mo yung concepts ng application. In fact, habang tinutuwa mo yung application, namamaster mo lalo yung application ng pag-solve ng mga problems. Ganun yun. And usually kasi pag long term, no, long term recall, yun ang difference. Okay, difference. May mga gifted persons, may mga gifted individuals. Parang example, okay, so ako lang pwede ko example dito. I cannot cite someone, ano. Example is iniwan ko yung room ko. Pagdating ko sa gabi, kahit magulo yung room ko, pagdating ko sa gabi, alam ko kung may nagalaw o hindi. Okay? I have what is known as a photographic memory. So isang tingin lang, alam ko na yung itsura niya. After how many hours, pagbalik ko, alam ko pa rin dapat yung itsura niya. Alam ko kung may nangyari o wala. So if you're gifted, take advantage of those ones. Okay? Pero pag wala kang gift, tsaga. Okay? Tsaga talaga yan. Okay? So mas malayo ang inaabot ng tsaga talaga. Okay, kesa sa natural gifts natin. Ayun, so yun ang long-lasting, paulit-ulit lang yan, constant lang yan. Okay? Tapos correlate pala, I forgot. I-correlate nyo. I-correlate mo na i-correlate. Example is when I discuss example sa decision making. Okay, what is relevant cost and what is irrelevant cost? What is sunk cost? Ayan. Sunk cost yung ex mo, di ba? Tapos na, ex mo na siya, di sunk cost na siya. Okay? So what is relevant cost naman yung manliligaw mo, di ba? Siyempre, relevant siya. Pag may changes na mangyayari, di ba? Ayun. So always correlate to actual situations para easier for you to recall. Ayun. So by faulty kasi, human beings are makalimutin kasi tayo eh. Kaya yun ang, unfortunately, that's our disadvantage. Kaya alam nyo, there was a proposal pero I'm not against it. I'm not also telling na gusto ko rin yun or kontra ko doon. There was a proposal na for you to take the board exams, dapat meron pa tayong 2 years na experience. Tama? Ayan. Medyo baliktad kasi sa United States, you're allowed to take the exams. Right after graduation, allowed ka na mag-take na exams. Pag pumasa ka, hindi i-grant sa'yo yung certificate pag wala kang 2-year experience. Yun ang gusto ko. Yung pag ganun sana yung gusto nila mangyari, I go with that. Okay lang sa akin yun. Pero yung kasi yung retention na tinatawag natin, na nag 2-year experience ka muna bago ka mag-exam, marami kang makakalimutan nun. Yung tinatawag natin na retention. So maganda sana if nag-pattern na rin tayo sa US, yung exam ka muna habang fresh yung concepts mo. Tapos i-apply mo na pagpasado ko na sa exams. Tapos pag marunong ka na sa application, kasi that's the process of learning eh. First you know, and then after knowing, i-test mo yung knowledge mo. After testing the knowledge already certified, you apply your knowledge na. Ganun sana. Yun ang maganda sana pag dito sa Pilipinas. Pag sineryoso talaga yun ha. Kasi yung sinasabi na 2 years muna bago ka mag-exam, that is true sa architecture. Kasi sa architecture, you really need to develop your skills. Baka makapagpatayo ng building, makapag-design, ganun talaga sa engineering. Okay? Kasi ano nito, more on the skills development sa kanila. Unlike sa atin, iba concept talaga tayo, concept-based talaga tayo. Okay, yun lang nahan. Okay, yun lang. Anyway, next. Ano pa? Baka may questions pa tayo.
Ayan, so partner, may mga questions pa ba?
Sige, partner, wait. Ikaw, partner, may question ka ba kay sir?
Okay, so para ma-recall lang din natin. So, meron pa tayo ditong question. So, how to solve problems involving percentages or increase and decrease the certain elements? Po, sir.
Isa pa din ano, sa ano na to? Sa sensitivity. Okay? Usually, pagdating na sa sensitivity analysis, ang mahirap kasi is, ito yung tinatawag na, ang given lang is yung worded questions lang. Tapos biglang itatanong sa'yo, what will happen to net income, increase, decrease, no effect. In fact, yun ang challenging questions. Ang gagawin mo doon is, the best way is, mag-assume figures talaga. Mag-assume figures tayo. Parang sa auditing, okay, usually, when I was teaching auditing before, yun yung lagi kong tinatanong. Example is, if your inventory beginning balance is understated, what will happen to CGS this year? What will happen to net income this year? What will happen to retail earnings this year? Okay, what will happen to net income next year? Affected pa ba siya? So, pag theoretical yung question, ang hirap talaga i-analyze. Pero once you place a figure doon sa theory question na yon, it becomes easier. Same principle goes with percentages. So, pag percentage analysis, ang gagawin mo doon is, Pag talagang worded question lang tapos percentage yung tinatanong sa'yo, mag-assume figure ka. Okay? Pero of course, meron din tayong tinatawag na may mga direct approaches sa percentage analysis. Meron ding long cut approach sa percentage analysis. Ang kagandahan sa board exam is wala namang nagbabawal sa'yo kung anong approach ang gagamitin mo. Importante lang is dapat matapos mo within the given time frame. Yun lang yun. So, ang labanan kasi natin sa exam is yung oras eh. Kaya natin isolve yun, yes. Kaya natin isolve. Pero can we solve the given items in the 3-hour duration na binigay sa atin? So, yun ang pinaka-solution doon for you to master percentage analysis. Ang gagawin mo is mag-assume figures ka. Ayun. So, don't be afraid to use your fingers. Don't be afraid to count with your hands. Bakit? Sa board exam ba? Okay? Meron bang bonus points on mayroon bang deduction pag gumamit ka ng kamay mo na nagbilang? Wala naman na. Importante doon, pumasa ka. Tama? Ayun. So, pag nagbibilang ka ng kamay mo, kinakantsawa ng kaklase mo. So what? Di ba? Importante pumasa ka. Ayan. Ayun, paano pag pumasa ka sa hindi? O di kansawan mo, buti ako nagbilang ng kamay, ako pumasa. Di ba? Ganun lang yun. So again, kanya-kanyang diskarte kasi yun. Okay, kanya-kanya. Pero the thing is, for you to master, example, yung mga critical questions, mga difficult questions, exposure yan eh. Mag-solve ka na mag-solve. Mag-research ka on that area. Pag mahina ka pa sa area na yan, mag-research ka pa. Tapos mag-solve ka na naman na mag-solve. Hanggang ang errors mo, minimal na lang. Halos hindi ka na magkamali. So, ibig sabihin nun, na-master mo na siya. Tapos, hindi lang yun ha. Dapat mabilis ka mag-solve. Ayun, dapat mabilis din. Dapat meron tayong speed. Okay, speed and accuracy should always go together. Okay, ano pa? Next.
Last question na lang po, sir. How would conducting a CVP analysis help business to their decision making? What are the benefits and limitations of cost volume profit analysis? Why is it important?
Nasagot ko na yata kanina.
Ay, okay. Sinagot mo na pala.
Oh, yun na yung question kanina, di ba? That's a question earlier. Okay?
So I guess that's a
Ayan.
wrap for all the questions, right, partner?
Baka meron pa. Ayun, Ayan.
Nakamute ka po, ate.
Okay, so thank you very much. So I think eto. So eto po siguro last question na talaga, sir. So meron po bang shortcuts or techniques that you employ in solving CVP analysis problems?
Marami. Oo. So meron tayong tinatawag na long cut. Meron tayong tinatawag na shortcut. Meron tayong tinatawag na super shortcut. Meron pang calculator approach lang. Meron yan. Okay? Meron pa yung nagsusulat ka lang. Tapos meron pa yung memory plus, memory in. Ganun lang yon, or memory minus lang. Tapos pag nag-recall ka na, yun na yung final answer mo. Marami. Hindi lang sa CVP. One of the more challenging and technical topic is, di ba sa capital budgeting, kasi nagko-compute tayo doon ng present values. Tama? Daming present value computations. So doon, calculator lang yun, basic calculator lang. Kahit hindi ka na magsulat, by the use of this one, yun, pwede. Marami. Pati sa, sa variance analysis. Di ba sa variance, overhead variances, di ba ang daming methods nun? Meron tayong good form. Ang approaches nun, meron tayong good form. Tapos meron din siya yung per unit approach, total approach, tapos may direct approach. Okay? Marami. Okay? O nga pala, nakalimutan ko sabihin. It is also one way of determining if you have mastery of the topic. If you can utilize and you can also develop your own approach, computing for the same answer, pagdating sa financial accounting, ang tawag natin doon is verifiable, tama? Using different approaches, giving you the same answer, tapos dinevelop mo yung approach mo, pero parehong sagot naman yung lumabas, mas mabilis pa. That is also an indicator of mastery of the topic din. Okay. So, ayun. Meron pa ba?
Okay, so yun lang po, sir. And okay, so alam ko na marami pang tanong ang ating JPN. So kung meron pa kayong questions, willing si sir na i-answer ang inyong mga tanong. Okay, so may nakikita ka ba sa ating FB Live, partner?
Parang wala na, partner. JPNs, comment down your questions.
Okay, so sir is willing to
Monitor ko
answer.
yun. Monitor ko yung questions nila. Wala.
Okay. So, mukha naman pong nasagot niyo na po lahat, sir, pati po yung kung paano mapasagot ang mga nililigawan. So, charot lang po yun.
Tsaga lang
And
yan.
that was it, of course. And the eagerness of our participants was indeed evident. And also, ibang level ang kanilang questions, and they were really attentive the whole time of the lecture.
Yes, and also the answers of Sir Rad are very informative. Kaya too informative siya na nagmo-motivate din sa'yo. Even though motivation is just a motivation, right, sir?
Tapos guys,
Kaya
ito
Sir
pala
Rob,
ha.
yes
Ayan,
po.
one last tip pala. Pag nag-analyze, lalo sa managerial accounting, ang managerial accounting is interconnected kasi lahat. Kaya pag nag-analyze ka sa isang area na to, hanapin mo yung link niya sa ibang topics. Ganun sabi ko kanina, di ba? Example nun is yung sa mixed break-even. First level lang yun of the analysis. Kasi ang next level nun is yung profit maximization ng one limited resource. Then profit maximization ng quantitative techniques. And then revenue variances. Interrelated yung mga yon. And that is already the trend of the exams. Which is also understood because sa totoong buhay, sa decision making, hindi lang isa aspect ang tinitignan. Pag nag-decide ako dito, what will happen to the other aspects that are affected? Kaya usually, pansin nyo, pag nagsagot ako ng question sa inyo, sasagutin ko dito muna, pero i-relate na kita. Lumalayo na yung discussion natin. Ganun talaga. Okay, ganun din pag nag-aral kayo ha. Dapat meron tayong bird's eye view analysis of everything. It's difficult to attain, yes. Pero pag na-attain nyo yun, madali na lang, promise. Madali na lang. Lalo na sa board exam. Or pag nasa trabaho kayo, madali na lang yun. Ayun,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you po talaga, sir. And I can assure you that it surely helped a lot of our participants to digest and understand more with regards to their queries.
Yes, and dahil dyan, we want to thank those who asked questions, and of course, the Sir Rad for thoroughly answering the said questions.
And thank
And
you
now,
din guys. Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
thank you very much po, sir. Sa susunod po ulit.
Yes. No problem.
Okay.
Ayan.
Yes.
Sabihin nyo lang, mas mahirap na topic, mas maganda na naman. Yun lang, no? Ayan. Sige lang,
Yes.
sabihin nyo lang anytime. Pwede ako. Ayan.
Okay, so thank you very much. And hindi kompleto ang ating thank you kung walang certificate. So now let's proceed to the giving of the certificate of appreciation.
Kaya may we call on our National Vice President for Academics, Ms. Kyle Nance Delgado, to award the Certificate of Appreciation.
Ayan, so am I audible ba? Bayan, and thank you. So, and to express our utmost gratitude, Sir Rad, allow me to read the quotation of the certificate. So, the Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Mr. Radvik F. Estoque, CPA or CA, MICB, CAT, MBA, AFA, CMA, for imparting his knowledge, expertise, and valued time to the attendees of the webinar entitled Kinaadman, a lecture on management services CVP analysis via Zoom conference given this 11th day of April 2021, signed by the project head, Paula Therese M. Mafalia, yours truly, the National Vice President for Academics, the National President Danielle O. Robles, and our beloved advisor, Mr. Conrad Alan and M. Alvis. Thank you so much, Sir Rad.
Ayan, thank you. Ito na, na-receive ko na. Thank you.
Thank you very much po.
Thank you. Ayan. Kaya na lang, email nyo na lang sa akin. Email na lang. Okay, yan. Sige, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So once again po, thank you very much. And now to give us the closing remarks, let's welcome the project head of this month's installment of Kinaadman webinar series, Ms. Paula Therese Afalia. So let's give her a virtual round of applause.
Hi, audible ba ako? I guess. Sige. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So how should I start? Lately, yes, there's a lot of concerns about the track we are taking. And to be honest, I have been contemplating whether I can still make it or not, or something like that. Pero this is what I realized. GPNs, no matter what challenges get in our way, in achieving our dreams, which is to become a certified public accountant, we should never let our focus fade away and be affected negatively by those concerns. And of course, we must always be determined that we will be able to reach it. And when life is getting harder and yung vision natin as a CPA seems to be unclear right now, always remember the why or yung purpose natin why we started, kasi it will make our determination stronger and it will get us back on track. And if there's also one thing na I learned here in NFJP, that one thing na gusto ko rin i-share with you, JPNs, is this statement na focus on what we can do and not on what we cannot do. So I heard it from Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for that word. So going back, that is why being part of this organization, in some ways, we hope that we can help and do something for you, JPNs. We hope that every installment of Kinaadman will be very helpful and it will become part of your journey in becoming CPAs. And yes, we have already reached the 4th installment of Kinaadman, and this installment wouldn't be a success without the people behind this event. So allow me to thank all of you for being so supportive, to my address fam, to Cal, to Win, to Jinx, Next, Doms, Levi, Ange, CJ. Thank you so much, guys. To my working committee, to Rach, to Elijah, to Marvin, to our hosts, Anja and Bea. Thank you so much. You are all appreciated. Grabe. Wow. To Real Excellence Online for being the partner of this event. Thank you po. And of course, kay Sir Rad for giving us his precious time to be with us today. Sir, sobrang galing niyo po and sobrang daming tips and lessons na natutunan namin today, and we hope that we will be able to hear more from you. And of course, to all JPNs who are watching in the FB Live, thank you so much. Kasi even though it is Sunday, which is supposedly rest day natin, thank you for choosing to be with us as we learn more about the topic, cost volume, profit analysis, and other things. And that's all. Thank you and God bless. And stay safe, everyone. We hope to see you again on the next installment of Kinadman and other events of NFJP.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Miss Paula. So that was such a magnificent remark.
Yeah, so while we are waiting for the list of winners, let's have some announcements muna.
Okay, so as you can see on your screens, JPNs, the recorded video of this webinar will be uploaded in Real Excellence online YouTube account. So kindly subscribe on their YouTube channel and click the notification bell para laging updated sa lecture videos ng Real Excellence Online CPA Review. So yan, so pwede nyo balik-balikan ang sessions na ito, and at the same time, marami pang lecture videos to watch and to learn more.
Yes, thank you so much, REO CPA Review. Also, kindly follow REO's account on Facebook at mag-join na rin sa REO Facebook group for more details about their exclusive offerings for us JPNs.
And yes, don't worry, because one of the working committees will be sending the links via the comment section para easy nyong mahanap ang official accounts ng REO.
Also, we would like to inform you that NFJPIA will be conducting a national mock board examination with the theme once again, Hiraya Manawari, malalim na pangarap para sa mga kwentong may layunin, on May 29 to 30, 2021, and also June 5, 2021, via Zoom conference and Canvas.
Yes, and if you are waiting for a sign, JPNs, this is the sign, kaya register now. Okay, so as you can see, we have here on your screen.
Yes, also JPNs, take note to fill out the evaluation form. Only those who filled out the registration form and the evaluation form will be given the certificate of participation.
Yes, and we would also want to inform you that the link will only be open up until April 14, 2021, Wednesday only. So again, one of the working committees will be sending the link via the comment section. Ayan. Okay, so ito na ang pinakakabangan ng lahat, partner. So
Yes.
katulad nga na palagi kong sinasabi, mapapasana all ka na lang. Okay.
Yes. Okay. We know that you are also excited na malaman if sino ba ang mga nanalo sa icebreaker natin kanina.
Yes, at dahil dyan, wag na nating patagalin pa because we don't want to keep you waiting. So the players are, okay, so partner, i-announce na natin sila. So our
So
first
for the-
winner is,
Yes, the first winner is Joyce Pelingon.
okay, congratulations, Joyce. So second winner is Erica Estrella. Okay, congratulations, Erica.
Third winner is Genoveva La Rosa.
Okay, congrats. So we have Charm Talon. Okay, congratulations.
On the fifth round, there was no winner because there was no sharer badge yung nagsagot ng tama.
Okay, so sayang naman yun. And let's proceed to our sixth winner. Okay, Gladys Tolentino, congratulations.
Yes, to our seventh winner, Mary Grace Sombilon. Sombilon or Sombelon. Congrats.
Congratulations. And also we have Mark Dariz Isidro Abusman. Congratulations.
Our ninth winner is Joshua Cernadilia.
And the last one is Thad Sungduan. So last but not the least, so congratulations sa ating winners. And sa mga hindi nanalo, don't worry dahil marami pang event ang NFJP. So see you there. And I hope na kayo na siguro or kayo na yung susunod na maging winner ng ating icebreaker.
Yes, more opportunities yung binibigay ng NF. Kaya congratulations to all the winners. To claim your prize, kindly message our NFJP queen, Miss Kimberly Riel, using the link on the screen.
Yes, and also kindly check your FB Messenger because one of the committee members will send you a message regarding your prize. And that's all for the reminders.
Before we put an end to this program, of course, we want to seize this very momentous moment. So now, may we all have our picture taking. Please open your cams and smile.
Hey
Yes,
organizers! On-cam na po tayo. And okay, I will be counting to 3. 1, 2, 3, smile. Another one, sa game na po. Ay, ganun. 1, 1, 2, 3. And wacky guys. 1, 1, 2, 3. Thank you po.
Thank
Ang
you
cute
po.
ni sir.
And sige guys, thank you Sige, have a nice day
Thank you po,
everyone.
sir.
Okay, so thank you once again. And to officially end the program, let us all together sing the Paragons and be reminded that our success is also JP's success.
Different cultures from faraway places find themselves in a common ground. Across the distance, a variety of phases on a single and burning passion abound. We believe there's no greater pride than the work and the name we make. We believe there's no greater glory in the honest to goodness path that we take. Different tongues singing one song as we try to make ourselves paragons of our ideals to be at pace with the world, learning the ways to conquer and win every race. And we try to make ourselves paragons of sympathize. If someone falls, our mentors teach us to endeavor to help one bounce back and rise. Different hearts lending one hand. There's a chance to serve our people who will try to do it for a country that strives to keep us free. So we all can make ourselves patrons of our ideals. No matter what time, our dreams and our hopes are in rhyme. We right to make ourselves arrogance of honor. Reach for success and let the heavens bless. And our success is genius success.
Okay, thank you for joining us today. Despite the distance and in a virtual setting, this event would not be possible without you guys. Once again, I'm Angel Del Rosario,
And I am Bea Pelaez, and
and
we
we
are signing off. We hope to see you in our next installment of Kina Edman's webinar series.
yes. So guys, stay safe and healthy, and thank you, JPNs. So till the next time.